Hell yeah. Accessing memory log WZ3-ITL04XQ Appendix R. Running simulated internal monologue.exe. Previously, after a game of cards with a trio of shady men in a dingy alleyway, we were granted access into the secret hideout of the Warriors, a gang of thugs who we believed were holding Kali's mother hostage. We handed over our ammunition, rendering all our projectile weapons useless. Inside, we found a dingy bar of ill repute filled with scruffy men of mostly the human species, all wearing red vac suits. We attracted more than our fair share of attention, but despite this, we did our best to fit in and remain inconspicuous. I initiated Pinocchio Protocol and allowed Mr. L. Flower to take the lead. Mr. Quick noticed what seemed to be a stage in one corner of the establishment and was disturbed to find it littered with blood in various stages of freshness and what looked to be shards of bone. One of the warriors spoke of Barbara, a blonde woman who gave a fantastic show and would supposedly be giving an encore performance later on. Rhodey split off and went to the pool tables with Jenko. He was made to feel unwelcome, but through an expert manipulation tactic, he convinced the two buffoons to allow him and Jenko to play whoever was the better pool player. Kali and I encountered a large man reminiscent of a bull named Tugboat. Through a bit of quick thinking, Kali told him his name was Crawley. Tugboat seemed excited for the upcoming encore and took a seat near the stage. Meanwhile, Rhodey and Jenko won their game of pool. Rhodey managed to talk to one of his opponents, who hinted that there was a blonde woman somewhere in the hideout who, like us, was not a warrior. However, he clammed up shortly after, evidently having said too much. As they went to go put on an ancient battle hymn to better suit the mood, Kali and I were approached by a black suit-wearing Malcoon gentleman who introduced himself as Tiki Piggly. Piggly corralled us towards the seat up front and graciously ordered drinks for the party before sitting down with us. I began to suspect that he knew more than he was letting on when he would not stop eyeing Mr. L. Flower suspiciously. Before long, a large human woman came out onto the stage, followed by incredible techno-circus music. It seemed that she was the night's entertainment, and was not pleased about being disturbed. She took off her jacket and revealed that one of her arms was a menacing-looking metal prosthetic. She began calling for an audience member to volunteer. When no one piped up, Piggly called out, drawing her attention to us, and she very nearly picked one of our own. I shined a light on Mr. Tugboat, however, who looked utterly defeated when he was called on stage. Barbara immediately punched his head off before the show abruptly ended and the club music came back on. After she disappeared backstage, Piggly hinted over and over that he knew who Kali was, but Kali stuck to the line that we were investigators sent by Joseph Godwater to look into a possible information breach related to the recording device that was found. Mr. Piggly led us deeper into the compound and past several layers of security, as well as cells with bloodied and dirtied windows too befouled to see through. He sat us down in his office, which contained laser rifles and a shelf filled with severed ears. After a circuitous attempt at negotiation, he let it drop that he knew exactly who Kali and us were, and he wanted to reach some sort of agreement. Mr. L. Flower dug his heels in, and eventually, a firefight ensued. Mr. L. Flower was hit, but Mr. Roadkill managed to cleanly explode the head of Mr. Piggly with his magnets. Reinforcements began to try and break the door down, before eventually attempting to shoot through it. I was able to yoink Piggly's compad and a spare hard drive connected to the computer in his office. While searching for a way out, I discovered a false wall that led to a vent behind the ear shelf. We were able to make a clean getaway, which became an unclean getaway when we decided to exit through the sewers. We spent the better part of the night evading capture, and finally emerged in Sector F, well out of the Warriors' territory. Kali paid for a room with the untraceable credit chips he won in the poker game while we cleaned ourselves up and caught our breath. While connected to Piggly's compad, I was able to find definitive evidence that the Warriors are responsible for manufacturing and distributing much of the drugs plaguing the streets of Junis. I was also able to pin down the object of my search, the Gracool tech dealer Click, as operating primarily out of Junis Sector Q. I also located a reference to the Aurora Sabalis in Piggly's communications. The Aurora Sabalis is a stellar light phenomenon visible from a few of the neighboring star systems. It seems Kali's mother is bound for one of these systems. That is where we are now. We must gain more specific information about Kali's mother's destination before we decide our next move. Operation simulated _internal monologue.exe complete. Backup saved to internal drives Z, Y, and X.
It's a lot of drives you're saving that on triple backup.
Oh man, I'm good.
Weevil's got OS. User Weevil.
Great. Sounds about good. We take your inspiration point, and yes, we resume. It is 4 a.m. You are all covered in sweat, save for Jenko, who doesn't have sweat glands, but he's overheating nonetheless.
Oh my god, where did the sweat come from?
Just panting. Collapse in your hotel room. You guys are able to finally catch a breath after skulking through the humid, hot nighttime streets of Junis, previously sneaking through the dank and hot sewers of Junis. Having just escaped your 30-man army, set out to murder you. A sense of dread regarding the ticking clock and closing window to save Colby's mom sits in for some of you more than others. Represented by a dull, bland, chipping gray series of poorly painted walls in this outdated queen suite. You guys all sit around. The light flickers on and off in the bathroom.
Mercury on the walls.
Okay, well, yeah, you guys are staying at a Hard Rock Cafe. You get the queen suite. The light flickers on and off in the bathroom as the block experiences another one of these brownouts. The radio in the corner turns to static and back as sandstorms make the signal fluctuate. And it occurs to you that you guys are left with a shit ton of questions and more problems than you have solutions.
Right. So I guess refresh my memory. I searched the compad, and that's where I found the information about the Junis drug problem being all or largely in part to the manufacturing facility. I don't remember if I searched the hard drive.
We can get a little more into this if you want to ask questions and essentially search both of these, but like, because we were just kind of coming up on the end of it, I don't want to be like too in the weeds with info. But yeah, in doing a cursory glance, downloading the iCloud data off of Pigley's phone, you're able to access a lot of his like texts and photos. And through his texts, you see that through encrypted numbers, there's like series of texts with Joseph. Unfortunately, they're set to either auto delete or he's been deleting them as goes on. So there's not like a huge extensive chain. But that is where you got a couple of details about, confirmation that Ember's been staying in the Warriors' hideout. When payment is set to be scheduled kind of deal, like, hey, man, we're almost out of this. Just want to make sure you're good on your end of the deal. Yes, of course, I am good on my end of the deal. Just don't fuck it up in the last few days. Great. All right. Well, drop-offs tomorrow. Hope to never do business again. See you. Have fun in the Aurora sector, That's where you got your little tip off from some text with Joseph, and then there's also some other unknown numbers in there. He doesn't have fucking anyone's number saved in his phone,
except for his mom.
Except for Mama, and you got some in glancing through his miscellaneous texts. You've seen some text to his doctor. His hemorrhoids are doing well. Some text to his florist. He's gonna pick up some flowers tomorrow. Well, he was going to. He can't really do that anymore without a head. And then there's some talks about basically hinting around a lab in Warriors HQ that manufactures Teft, as well as some details about specific small-time dealers, texts along the lines of like, yeah, when the new batch comes out, Johnny is expecting a cut, and he is expecting a larger cut than usual. We might have to put some muscle in on him. And this time, I don't think we should incorporate Teflon into the new round. He's been acting shady, could potentially be a mole. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. So
we're playing this as if we had just gotten to the apartment.
Yeah, you guys have been sitting around the apartment for about half an hour, sitting around the hotel room rather. Enough to catch your breath, dunk your heads in the sink, take your shoes off, get your bearings. Basically, enough time for Weevil to sit down and hack this phone to get this information.
All right, Collie's gonna gather himself. He's gonna walk up to Weevil and throw his hand on his shoulder and be like, "All right, man, good work getting us out of there. But also, like, fuck you, bro. We were." And Collie holds up his hands and like right in Weevil's face, like to pointer finger to thumb. He goes, "We were this close to getting her back, and now." Oh, he sits down in the bed. What do you got on the phone? Where's she going? Where's the Aurora sector?
Weevil, your visual sensors indicate that his fingers were about 2.4 centimeters apart.
Yeah, cool. Weevil, behind Weevil's sensors, Kali gets the sense that he has had a targeting system change from ally to enemy and then back to ally as he went.
Kali's name
this
turns
close.
red above his head.
Yeah. Weevil will remember that, flashes across his screen. Weevil's smile returns and he goes,
Well, dude, I was able to identify that it seems that she will be headed towards a system that borders a stellar phenomenon known as the Aurora Borealis. However, that is where the leads end. I was not able to find specific information about what port she is leaving from or what ship she will be leaving on. I believe it would be impudent for us to attempt to gain access to a privately owned Godwater or Warriors vessel, as if we were found in space, we would be summarily executed. However, there is no way to know for sure.
Does this hotel room come with? I mean, I have a compad. The compad's equipped with the internet. Can I do some research on my phone, looking into how many star systems and I don't know, just how many star systems in general have some sort of aurora phenomenon?
Yeah. So I mean, there's going to be a ton, but to narrow it down is
the closest I'm imagining.
Well, no, not even that. It specifically references the aurora phenomenon, like they're named, kind of like a moon or something.
Like it's like instead of just waterfall, it's Niagara Falls kind of thing.
Yeah. So it references like enjoy Niagara Falls, and now you have to figure out, well, is she on the American side or the Canadian side? And essentially, the Aurora Borealis, it is in the center point. It's a very large natural gaseous sort of phenomenon that is stationary in space, free floating, and 3 star systems are able to sort of be influenced by its colored effects. You can kind of see it. I can drag you to this map, and for reference, it is this giant section on the map that is actually visually represented. So everything around it, the red triangle around it, it could be any one of those 3 systems, and then obviously these systems have multiple planets within them potentially. It could be a system like Saragon, where there's only one planet that anyone would ever go to because the rest are either gas giants or uninhabitable. But you'd have to do some research on what's on that end of the galaxy.
Okay. I guess while this is going on, Kali can be kind of quiet. I'd love to. I guess I'd love to just pull that data. What are each of these systems called? What planets are first off habitable? Secondly, which ones are mostly, which ones would be a hotspot for a rich fuck? Because it seems like Joseph has only been going to places that he could have a sweet fucking villa at. That's the only place he would really bring my mom, it seems. So I'd love to look for that rich planets among these.
Hey Google, filter planets by villa.
Yeah. Villa rich planets. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's going to take you a little while to sift through. But yeah, you're doing that.
Gotcha.
Okay, so as far as the game plan goes, if we're not planning on jumping onto a ship full of bad guys, I guess the goal is to get information on where that ship full of bad guys is going.
Yes.
And then becomes, where do we want to source that info from?
Yeah. So with that in mind, Weevil will pipe up and go.
I am not sure if anyone remembers, but I remember receiving a public notification that the city officials of Junus were searching for leads on how the theft was being produced and distributed. I have located concrete evidence that the Warriors are associated with that, and we may be able to find someone in City Hall who is perhaps a bit loose-lipped if we are able to trade their information about this in exchange for shipping manifests or information about what ships are departed for these 3 systems, and he points at them out. We may be able to gain more insight into what ships may contain Kali's mom.
Yeah, she's either being transported through legitimate means as some kind of VIP, or she's potentially being smuggled, just like these drugs would be. Let's figure that out.
Yeah, I guess at this point I'm kind of Oh, wait, I guess I should be Kali. Yeah, dude, I guess at this point it's kind of like... It's kind of difficult. I thought he was treating my mom really well, and then she was in some shithole basement. Like, this fucker just seems to be throwing her around, man. I don't know what to do anymore.
To be fair, it seems as if she was a high priority subject for the Warriors, and while it is obviously bad that they are essentially trafficking her, it seems that they are, at the bare minimum, treating her well on a comfort level. That may be some consolation. By the prolonged silence, I assume it was not some consolation.
Oh, sorry, bro. I'm just doing some research, looking for rich planets. My bad.
So what'd you say about constellations?
He puts his phone away, and there's like pictures of like women in bikinis, and he's like, "Fuck."
No, wrong tab.
It's just Pelican porn.
Oh,
It's
God.
stuck with
He's
it.
got a taste for it now.
Yeah.
I've got a tab open.
So, Michael, your suggestion was to find, what was it, like ship logs of ships that fly to these sectors? Where would we go to find that? Where would have that information?
You could probably find it at the spaceport. Like, if you want to not do anything too shady, you might be able to ask. Otherwise, you can maybe hack like a traffic control mainframe.
Is
and
that a thing,
figure out-
Alex?
Sorry, I'm a little I'm split brain right now, generating a bunch of content for Kali's question.
Yeah.
What was your question?
We're talking about the best way to find, I guess, logs of which ships are going where. Like, once we identify Godwater's ship.
Okay.
Or
It occurs to Janko from his years on, working on starships and stuff. Most, if not all, ships that enter a sector, or enter a star system that is inhabited, this one would count. The way skip drive travel works in this game is you can leave by flying to the edge of a star system, and then you activate your skip drive and go out from anywhere. However, when you warp to a new sector, I keep saying sector. When you warp to a new system, you come in from one place. And a lot of times for like more well-defined systems and more inhabited systems, where there's like multiple planets, or there's a population that's really high, or there's like a governmental sort of like body headquarters there, they'll like defend that entry point. So you warp in, and there's like gunships and security measures, very Starfield. You warp into inhabited space, and they give you a scan kind of deal. So that was the case for this. Your cruiser, when it arrived in the system of Saragon, was cursorily scanned and blah blah blah. So like that data is going to be logged somewhere for sure. Every ship that comes to the system is logged, not so much leaves. Same for starports. Usually, if you land in a starport, there's VI droids, cameras, and technicians that will log that information, take your papers, make sure you're legal, make sure there's not, they'll do like 3D X-ray scans of your ship to make sure you're not hauling contraband around, et cetera, et cetera. So you could break into potentially starport's technician hub. There'll be a building at starports that usually have those, or you can potentially find out where they store the system-wide data like that, and that would have data on the Isabella as well when it came into, obviously before it crashed, it wouldn't have anything probably too useful, but like the Isabella would be logged there, and that would either be at some sort of like server room in the basement of like a city hall type building, which is in Polis, or maybe like Police HQ, which would there's one in Polis and one in Junis and one in TARDIS.
TARDIS, like in Doctor Who.
Do we have any suspicions of whether they're leaving from Polis or Junis? I figure Polis has a spaceport, right?
They both
Not
do.
Junis. You both do? Okay.
Yeah,
figure
Junis
that
is
out
just
too.
smaller, and Joseph is staying in Polis, but Ember is being held in Junis. So it begs the question as well, for what it's worth, are they even leaving together?
Yeah.
They're,
That's a good point.
from conversation, it seems they're both set to depart today, but are they flying separately? I mean, that could be a... And if they're not, is he coming to her or is she coming to him? Hijacking a car on a road would be a lot easier than breaking into a spaceship.
All right, and they're leaving at like 8 a.m., right?
You have no idea when
Are we-
she's leaving. It
are
is
we-
in
we
the
don't know?
morning,
Okay.
so it could be 4 in the morning and she's already leaving right now. It could be 6 in the morning and you got a couple hours. It could be like 11 a.m.
So I don't suspect we'll be able to identify their ship and get onto it in time. I feel like figuring out where it's going and what ship it is, etc., is a safer bet, more realistic.
I think even if we could figure out which ship it was, which would require some luck on our end, the idea of maybe trying to jump in as stowaways, which was my first thought, might just end up with us getting, filled with holes and ejected into space. So, something to think about. Maybe we just head out there now, scope it out, and try and see what she's going to be flying on.
I was actually leading towards this like a similar direction, thought process wise. Alex, is there a lot of like air traffic in the city we're in right now?
No, this isn't like a super well established planet. You got your Mos Eisley vibes, right? So there are like grav cars and motorbikes and things like that on the ground, but there's not a lot of like flying cars. And the ships that do come in and go from, especially Junis, it has a smaller starport than Polis. There are maybe, you would guess based on your time in these cities, about a couple dozen ships a day that come and go from Polis, and maybe half of that in Junis.
Okay, so
And that's over the course of a full like 36-hour, aka 1 day here, time period.
So there's a reasonable thought process that says like if one of us were to sit on a roof and take a photo of every single ship that were to leave this city in like the next, because we have a time frame. She was supposed to leave in the morning.
In the morning,
right?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, so let's say you said it's 4 in the morning right now. If we were to wait until like noon, take a photo of every ship, there'd be like a reasonable amount to keep track of.
Yeah. I mean, it's where do they go from there? You could, it would be a little bit of a pain to get information on all of them, but very doable for sure. The only issue is you would also have to double up because unless you know which starport she's leaving from, you could miss it entirely and she's leaving from Junis and you just take Polis photos or vice versa.
I mean, my follow-up question to that is, I'm assuming the starport in Junis isn't located deep in Warriors territory, right? Like it's probably more in the like it'd be like a Detroit airport, it's like you're in an area that is reasonably safe for travelers who aren't planning on staying too terribly long and wandering off the beaten path.
Yeah, it's also towards the outskirts of the city because they don't want ships directly flying over the majority of the city just to land in the center.
Gotcha. So okay. I mean, with that in mind, I don't feel terrible about splitting us up between two cities. I mean, granted, it's a fucking risk if we decide, hey, we're going to send some people back to Polis. It's also a several-hour drive, so there is a very real chance that someone gets there. Let's say they get there at 8 a.m. That's 4 hours they won't have been taking pictures of Polis. But then again, we're also dealing with a situation where if she's leaving from there, she would need to travel there herself. So that point may be partially negated by that. But it's still something to consider because she almost certainly, like, we would need to spend time. It would probably take us longer to get there than her, considering she almost certainly would have a pre-organized travel path, and that, she would do that every day to meet Godwater for dinner. So I think it's not a death sentence for us to split up if we need to, and that's probably the best bet for covering our bases. But I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say.
No, I don't think that's the worst idea. to split up like that.
Yeah, I think we need to. How can't cover the spaceport if we're just looking from one fucking direction.
Yeah, and then if we could somehow, God, but let's say there is only like 10 ships per spaceport, that is still a pain in the ass to look at like these 20 ships and see if any of them ended up in any of those 3 systems.
It is, but if we're still, if we're talking about this in character, so like,
If we go with my proposal of attempting to talk to one of the city officials, they may be able to offer more insight and run the scans of the specific ships that we request. That could be a potential route, although that would also be maybe raising flags if Godwater has associates in the government. It is a risk, but it is not a unreasonable one, I feel.
This is more of a Alex question. You're going to need to answer this, but Rhodey's just is going to ask. Can we put up maybe some kind of map and see if there's a, I don't know, like a taller building that we can sit in and look down on the spaceport from? Maybe with some binoculars like Weevil has.
Building? Yeah. Sorry, real quick too, while you guys are having this conversation and Colley's doing some cursory research, Colley, can you give me a programming int check to scour the web?
Yeah, I can sure fucking try.
Yeah, this is
every
just
time
how
you
much
go to a
like
webpage, Weevil thinks about what you said to him, and he goes, like when you're like you try to focus a little bit.
All right,
that's exactly what happens.
I'm gonna use my thing to re-roll it again because I'm an expert.
Yeah. We're looking for a DC 8 and 10, ideally.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the basic information you get.
I'll get distracted by girls in bikinis again.
Yeah, the three systems.
Just random drool.
There are 3 systems that can view the Aurora Sabalis are called Dana, D-A-N-A. You know that it has 6 planets orbiting it. Could be some of these could be gas giants, some of these could be fucking frozen wastelands. You don't know. 6 planets. There is Elora, E-L-O-R-A, that has 1 planet, and Traveler that also has 6 planets. You get notes on with a 4. Pick one of these. You want to know something more about?
I'm gonna say he went with Dana because Dana sounds like a cute girl.
Yeah, he's like looking at like pictures of models named Dana.
Okay. You only get information on about half of these planets. It's very like news articles about like somebody killed or new factory being built or something like that. Nothing that really tells you anything too substantial about them, but you only see notes for Dana's 4, 5, and 2. So you gather there's about 3 planets that have some sort of people on them within this system.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you get with a 4, unfortunately. I wish I could give you more, but it's not even a baseline 6.
Okay, so what if you research if Godwater has any properties on any of those planets, or if he has any industrial, like, startups?
Yeah. Computer enhance.
Yeah, so that kind of fits into the original check that he was doing. Is like, okay, are there any with nice villas and stuff like that? And it's a lot of ground to cover via some Google searches. It is hundreds and millions of miles space-wise, and it's a total collection of about 13 planets between the 3. So like that's what he's able to get during this fucking 45 potential minute conversation. You can always repeat this check later. It's just internet research, so you just need to. It's on cooldown for now. You know.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. So in order to avoid rolling 20 times in a row to try and actually open the door, I'll wait an hour and say like, oh, okay, I got information on Dana 246. I'll do that after we do some other things. All he has to recharge his phone.
Well, no, it's just you don't have time right now. You know what I mean? This is what you get over the course of 45 minutes. And unless you decide to sleep here and not go after your mom, like if you guys want to go to these spaceports, you run out of time before it's time to go to the spaceport, and that's all the information you got in the 45 minutes kind of deal.
Did Weevil get any? Like Weevil, dude, did you get any inclination? Or well, no, that's too big of a word. Did you get any like idea? Did you get any idea if my mom was going to be traveling with Joseph himself, or if she going to be like cargo or something?
Based on my notes and my own memory of it, I have no idea. Like, Weevil will say,
I believe that we can count no situation out of possibility, because it is likely that since Godwater and your mother were staying separately, he was doing that because he views her as a high-profile target for anyone who may want to steal her, and therefore he was attempting to do that for her own protection, and I use that term loosely. I feel that it is likely that they will also be traveling separate. However, given that we have potentially aroused suspicion around the city of Junis and the warriors in particular, it is likely that he may have shifted strategies. I feel that in order to best ensure the chance that we are able to identify which ship she is on, we may want to split up and cover all our bases.
I have a weird feeling that like we should focus on ships that have some sort of defense, since if he went this far to hire a bunch of thugs to keep her out of harm's way and keep her out of his enemy's hands, he probably wouldn't just put her on a cargo ship.
That is an oddly lucid thought.
Duh. Goes back to sniffing his own farts.
Yeah, that's Polly's good thought for the day.
It's his turn.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point. If he went out of his way to hire a fucking gang of thugs, I doubt he would put her on a ship that could be fucking taken over instantaneously. So looking for any ship that's like heavily armored or something with a whole lot of guns or a big crew or something, I think that's probably a good bet.
That's fair. Because I feel like Godwater is like I'll say this in character.
I feel as if Godwater is one of the people that would like to maintain as much control over a situation as he can, and therefore, if he were to go with a ship like the Isabella, which may be beneficial to the privacy of the situation and traveling undercover, it would present many unknowns in the matter of who else could get on the ship as a passenger. Therefore, I agree. I think it is likely that she will be leaving in a heavily armored or heavily guarded ship, or at least one that has enough to not arouse too much suspicion, but is still able to hold its own in a firefight.
Like, yeah. So if we were going to split up and check both these spaceports, I think we should take note of every ship, but high priority would be those that could defend themselves in a firefight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And
We should call that Granny so we can get a lift back to the other spaceport.
Did she give us any information about like any way to contact her?
No.
go to like Facebook and leave a post.
Yeah, that'd be very hilarious if like the fucking murderer spy Granny was like, "Here's my number."
And then she immediately shoots the phone.
Hit her with space Craigslist and hit her up on or make a post on misconnections.
Yeah, you were the beautiful old stranger with a man in your trunk. We were the strange people and the one bat guy who tried to talk you into letting this stranger who was responsible indirectly for your husband's death go. Yeah, Weevil will volunteer to stay in Junis, and he's going to say,
if we are going to split up, I believe that my optical sensors would be beneficial. I do not have binoculars, but I do have a camera with zoom capabilities.
And we all know it's a camera that's no better than a smartphone, but Weevil wants to stay in Junis for now.
If you're staying here, if we're splitting up, I'd go to Polis. Somebody wants to join me. So are we really just taking pictures of takeoffs and then doing research after, or do we have a different plan?
I mean that's the best idea that I think I've heard proposed, because it means that we could do that from potentially anywhere that has a tall enough building, and therefore we don't need to necessarily go into a situation where, like, there's nothing illegal about taking pictures of ships, but there is very much stuff illegal about trying to hack into dock manifests and city records and stuff like that, you know? So this is, I think, path of least resistance. Granted, it presents a lot of unknowns with, you know, maybe there's clouds, it's atmospheric conditions, there's a very real chance one of us sneezes and misses a ship. But I don't think it's a bad strategy. Also, I'm going to go use the bathroom, but I'm still listening, and I will be typing my responses in Discord.
I think if we're all gonna split up and go to different spaceports, I can go to the other one with you, Janko, because like I give you guys the money to like buy you and Rhodey to buy like a place to chill, but last time I gave Rhodey money, all he really did was spend it on booze and get fucked up.
Last time I used the money, the last time you gave me money, I got some money back. And I got some information. I thought that was a great success. I think I'm making progress.
Tell it to your AA officer, bro.
Why would I go to AA? I'm still drinking.
And also, I don't want to be anonymous. I'm Rhodey, and I'm an alcoholic.
But yeah, Kali will go with Jenko if Rhodey wants to stay with Weevil.
Yeah,
unless Rhodey is very adamant about going to the other city.
No, I mean I'm down to just stay with Weevil, and you know, I don't want us to have like one of us just by ourselves, especially just in case. I mean, nothing is likely to happen, but there's always a chance. You know, we did just escape the Warriors, and they're probably not super happy about what we did.
Yeah,
definitely not yet.
Killing their gang leader.
We killed the Warrior.
They've actually just completely disbanded and all curled up in a ball in a corner to die.
They're in the middle of their Breakfast Club style, like end credits of like, and then Tugboat and his headless body went on to start an orphanage. And
Tugboat went to Brown and graduated with a degree in law. Don't you forget about me.
I already did, Tugboat. Sorry.
Also, I really quickly opened YouTube to just see something, and I just found a fucking perfect picture of Rhodey with a fucking Jablimbo.
He's still hanging around. Shit.
Yeah. Fucking dragged him through the hideout, and we need to make him a baby viewer.
We can say that maybe we left him somewhere safe, you know, and retrieved him. But
yeah, you're.
I also forgot that I had Jablimbo with. You're just so quiet, Jablimbo. You never whine. I forgot that you're there.
It's a skeleton on the end of a leash.
Yeah.
Do that thing you like where you jangle in agreement with me, and just bones clattering. Yeah, so I mean, if sounds like we have a party split in motion. I believe we're able to communicate with each other no problem across long distances, thanks to compads and the fact that there's internet here. So we can, you know, email and text and call back and forth no problem, even over citywide distances. So the communication isn't the issue, but of course, you know, backup it is. So we'll just have to keep that line open and say if we see anything that seems especially incriminating. But yeah. I did, I guess, looking at the map of Junus and where the spaceport is in relation to everything, is there any chance that it borders Sector Q?
The
or that there are tall buildings
no.
and yeah,
the spaceport, no. It is closer to like Sector G, so it's actually not that far away from you guys. In a slightly nicer part of town. It's on the edge of town as well.
Cool. So I'm shelving that for now, but yeah, I mean, Weevil is good to go with Rhodey if there's any more prep. He's still kind of, surfing through fucking Pigley's notes and is looking for any evidence of like a bank password. Probably not there, but that's what he's doing.
Yeah, with everybody investing so heavily into digital currency for the most part this far into the future, it's unfortunately really hard to hack somebody's bank account by just getting their phone. Like, okay. you think about, like, a lot of your life is on your phone, much more. I mean, a lot of our lives are on your phone, right? If you lost your phone, how many passwords could somebody access of yours and stuff like that? Most people have, over hundreds of years, taken cybersecurity at its base level to be a little more serious, and nobody has, like, really notepads filled with all of their passwords so they don't forget them anymore. That's kind of gone out the window in the late 2200s. So it is now more of a hacking thing that you have to do.
I really like that the note that, like, oh yeah, in space textbooks it says, and then we stopped writing our passwords down in Google Notes in 2200.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that thing with new technology, I get what you mean, and yeah. Like, okay, you have a notepad with all your passwords in it. Okay, boomer. Like that moment where that was like how the zeitgeist saw people who wrote that happened like 600 years ago. So we're like so beyond that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, is there any chance that when Jenko and Kali go to do their thing, that Kali could transfer most of these physical creds into digital creds? Just because I'm imagining he's carrying a lot in his fucking shirt pockets.
Yeah, you'd have to stop at a bank, but it should be no big deal.
Okay. Yeah. Also, speaking of which, man, maybe it would be smart to get some sort of burner phone, because that guy did kind of bring up a good point. Like, show me your phone, prove who you are, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, also, side note about Junis. Wasn't there a thing where city officials in Junis were trying to find drug dealers, like leads on the Warriors manufacturing drugs? Do you think we could get paid for that, or is that not worth digging into? It's a risk. Like, if we point them towards a den where these guys operate or something.
You do recall that there was an announcement about, police are looking for tips, anonymous, or, well, not so much anonymous because then you can't get paid for it, but tips regarding drug dealers. So if you were to turn in your corner dealer, and that it turned to pay out, like they went and arrested him and like, oh, he actually does sell drugs. You were right. Here's some money. Yeah, that's very much a system they have going on. You imagine that it could be worth a lot if you can prove it. You'd probably need beyond some texts.
Yeah.
It's enough to get them to investigate, but then it's also like a whole matter of like again, it's dependent on it being totally and utterly proven. As in, they'll need to arrest the drug dealer probably before they pay you out. So they'll need to conduct a SWAT operation and shut down a drug lab and break into the Warriors lab in order to potentially pay you out for that.
It won't be overnight, I get that. So maybe that would come after we do our scouting at the airports. If you guys want to make some money, I think we can.
Oh yeah, Weevil absolutely wants to.
Give them something. If we learned anything while we're there at all.
For what it's worth as well, because it's one of the major hubs of the production of this stuff, the payout would be, it was like somewhere between like 2 and 5, depending on the level of the drug deal, like 200 to 500 for like turning in a corner dealer. So it would be exponentially more for this. And this is an insane idea, but if you want to go speed things along and go fucking storm the gates with them, then that could guarantee you get your money. There's your potential side quest.
Also, if we did that side quest, once we were in the good graces of the law, assuming we weren't like...
Yeah, you can start the cop subquest.
Yeah, if we do that, we could also maybe ask them for more details on other leads in the underground, and that might come useful for us as we're trying to lay low.
It could. I feel like we need to be like smart about it, because if we're like, all right, thanks cops, we helped you. Anyway, you know where we can get any good black market smuggling done?
Well, I mean, I would phrase it
yeah.
as like we're looking to bust more cases for more payout.
Yeah, I 100%. And even then, you know, I think if anywhere on Saragon 3 were to have a place where the wheels could be greased a little bit and a cop would be willing to tell some things off book in exchange for a little, you know, liquid assets, it would be Junis. So, you know, we wouldn't just have to go about it doing the dumb thing that I just said of like, yes, I'd like to see if there's any criminals to deal with.
Right.
There's 100 different ways we could facilitate that.
I vote that after we figure out the situation with Kali's mom, figure out where she's going and where she went with, we linger here, make some money before we leave the planet. Probably Junis to do that.
I agree. I think that's a really good idea, because we need more money and possibly connections before we really get too deep in any major interplanetary capitalist political intrigue. You know, that's the main sticking point of jumping into Godwater's situation, is that we are throwing ourselves into a meat grinder potentially.
Well, the next main quest is actually to fight God, so you know we're gonna launch right into the big stuff.
Fight God water.
I mean, fair enough. Cool. So it sounds like you guys are going to split up, with Kali and Janko heading to Polis, the nicer of the two cities, to stake out to see if Joseph is leaving from there, and potentially Ember is as well. Meanwhile, Weevil and Rhodey are going to stay in Junis and see if Ember is potentially leaving separately from Joseph, or if she's coming to him. Or sorry, that he's coming to her. Sorry, that's what I mean. And they're leaving from there instead.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
And sorry.
I was gonna say we can, unless there's anything anybody wants to do before you separate. I'm assuming you guys want to get there as early as possible, especially Janko and Kali, considering they have, if they can get a car, 4-hour drive ahead of them. Question would be, that Janko and Kali, how are you guys obtaining a car?
Kali's a dilettante, motherfucker. Give me an hour and I'll find transportation.
And hooker.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that what that means?
Sorry, not a dilettante. A wanderer.
A diddly-taunt. A dilly bar, like from Dairy Queen.
Yeah, Holmes, I can find free transport because I'm a charming son of a bitch.
You're a very nice lady from what I've seen of your mother.
You haven't seen my mother.
Yeah, we have. At dinner.
Oh, yeah, you guys have.
from a long distance.
Yeah, Kali barely saw her.
Kali is so defensive because of Rhodey that he wraps his hands around Weevil's throat area and it's like, "Stop! Are you seeing my mother? Don't date my mom!"
She's newly single. You leave her alone.
I can't wait to be her new dad.
That is true. I think by right of conquest, we will need to pay to have Kali's genes edited to reflect yours.
Brody, I don't really think you're my dad's type, bro.
I don't think that's how that works. Oh
I
God!
can't have two dads. What's wrong with that, Alex?
Oh God!
Yep. Canceled.
No, I'm rolling up an NPC that Kali is going to flag down for a ride.
Oh no. Oh no. Tell me it's another murder, Grandma.
It's not. What the fuck does this mean?
Oh no.
Kali's got his leg, fucking his pant leg rolled up, and it's just like showing thigh.
Relation is what? The relation or attitude of a child to a parent?
Filial?
Yeah, is his defining. I'm not gonna use this because I don't know how to fucking. But his most obvious character trait is filiality.
Maybe like, oh, you're my son now.
What a weird one to be on this list.
You know, that is a
Okay.
weird way to describe it too.
Maybe he likes that Collie as a mama's boy.
I can be your mom.
I just don't even know what that means. Yeah, is he parental? Because paternalism is different on here. Paternalism's fucking on this list, and it's not. So it's not that he's parental. It's that
Maybe,
he's
like, sees you
filial.
as a brother kind of thing.
He sees you as
Oh, yeah.
he sees you as his parent.
Oh,
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, like Collie reminds this person of their
You're my
own
dad.
dad.
yeah, just constantly like, can I get out of the car? Is it cool? Collie.
Yeah, so you guys split up. Collie and Janko head towards the closest exit point from the city towards Polis to see what kind of traffic is coming and going. And unfortunately, Collie, your wanderer abilities only get you so far with public transport. The morning commute from Junis to Polis of retail and menial laborers and workers is pretty packed. You know, we're talking rush hour, you know, from this is the residential Brooklyn to busy Manhattan kind of deal. So none of these bus drivers and public transport people want to give you a free ride. However, there is one guy that pulls over and sees you and Janko kind of, you know, he's been drinking a coffee on the hood of his own car, and he flags you down and asks, "Yeah, you guys need a ride?" It's this young man with snot running down his nose, kind of just like a snot stain trail baked into his face. It's been dried on by the morning sun. And he's got this old beater of a grav car that like sputters and the grav wheels kind of dip and repower up, and then it's brown and he got different colored doors than the rest of the body.
This is the human version of Kits.
Yeah, he's wearing like a short
Bucko's manatee shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing a short sleeve mustard color button down and a red and white striped tie, and he has like a really bad wet comb over that is accompanied by his wet skin. Like this dude is slippery.
He's wet. Okay. Like yeah, dude, you going? We're going to Polis.
Yep.
Like yeah, dude, we're looking to hitch a ride to Polis. You think you could spare two cool guys?
Yeah, I work at the Buckles over in Polis, and yeah, it's always get lonely on the road on the drive. I make it every other morning, and it's a real quiet thing. The radio in the car's busted; it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, I'd love to have some company, some road talk.
Wait, he works where?
At the Buckos.
Does Collie know what a Buckos is?
It's a
Is it
fast
like
food
Buc-ee's?
chain. It's a fast food
It's
chain.
it's a Buc-ee's. It's a Bussies.
It's competition.
No, it is where Kits works at a Buckos.
Oh, okay. Let's ask if he knows Kits.
Yeah.
But he does.
Yeah,
They all know each
dude,
other.
we'd appreciate it. What kind of ride is he in? Does it look like Danger? Are we
Yeah, I
gonna
told
get
you.
killed?
It's like an old, beat-up clunker of a car. Imagine like a Honda Civic that the doors have fallen off and he's replaced them with other doors, and yeah, and the engine occasionally spits out like black smoke.
Yeah, man. I mean, I look at Janko. How's Janko feeling about this?
I mean, I hope the car can make it.
Sounds like we're taking the ride. Sure, bro. Yeah, we'll hop in. Glad to meet another cool dude along the way. You know how it is, the struggle, right, bro?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, hop on the back seat. Just be careful. I got some prototypes back there. You just scoot them to the side. Just don't put them on the ground or whatever.
Prototypes of what?
I'll tell you about it in the car. It's great. You guys are gonna love this. Maybe you guys. Yeah, I don't know what kind of types you are, but you look like entrepreneurs. Maybe you could. We could even get in business together. Do some investing. I'm always looking for investors.
You ever hear of crypto?
I mean, we're not really the richest, bro. But I guess we got time to kill. What's the product? Can Kali discern anything from the look of this thing, or these things? I guess.
Yeah. You guys wander over to his car and you creak open the rusty back door, and it looks like tech based. They're small devices in metal trays that are like fastened down with some straps so they don't roll around too much. It looks like it's almost like a screw and a bracket attached to a coiled antenna with like a little microchip on it and a little casing over the microchip to protect it. It almost looks like an earpiece, but rather than clipping on your ear, it screws into something. And he's got a couple different like models of these. One that has like a headband attached to it, and one that has like a binder clip attached to it, kind of deal. Like different ways to attach these things. The motherboards are different sizes. The coils are made out of different things and different lengths.
So are we driving already? Have we taken off?
Yeah. If you guys get in the car, if you guys are willing to, you guys start the drive over. And on the drive, he tells you all about his business. He's like, yeah, I work at a Bucko's for now, but I'm an entrepreneur and inventor myself. These back there, they're neural transistors I've been working on. You screw them into the side of your brain, and what I'm trying to replicate is psychic powers. I hear there's people out there that have them. They move things with their mind. They can read minds, and some say there's entire worlds filled with psychic people. I've never met any myself, but I figure, it's all brain waves and brain tweaks, right? So if you get the right frequency, the 6G, the 7G, the cocktail of brain chemistry and lobotomization, you too could make a car fly.
Yeah. I mean,
with your mind, not with grav wheels.
Yeah, bro, I love a dude with passion. These seem really cool. I think I've heard of that thing you're talking about, bro. You got any successful runs? You like test this on yourself?
I've done some small tests. It's a work in progress. There should be one. I think it's labeled Model G40. I tried that one on a baby sandworm I found, and it didn't die right away like they usually do, and I'm pretty sure
it is progress.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it did something. I think it made it either really hungry or really horny, because it started acting really strange afterwards, and then it did die a few hours later. It did die, maybe from some internal bleeding and hemorrhaging, but yeah, we're making progress. I mean, I've never tried it on a human. If you'd like to volunteer.
Oh, not right now, man. I already have kind of a migraine.
Oh, that's
didn't
good.
really sleep well last night.
Well, hey, you guys seem like very sociable people. I mean, you guys walked up to me, and I walked up to you. But as soon as you opened your mouth, I liked you immediately. I think you guys could be fantastic for the marketing department for my company. If you're interested, I'd love to take you on. I would be your boss, and it's a very low paying job at the moment, but it scales with growth. Just something to think about.
Kali looks at Jenko and like shrugs.
I'm deeply interested. Give me your number, and as soon as we're done with our business, I consider reaching out and making that happen.
Of course, it's 555 FAKE NUMBER. He gives you his phone number, but yeah.
Hell yeah.
SUPERCALI.
So this is a long shot, but you wouldn't happen to have any binoculars or lenses in your possession, would you?
No, but there's one back there called it should be model B15. That one's supposed to give you X-ray vision if you want to just slot it into your head.
I'd rather test that on something less sentient.
Yeah, there's still some old blood on it too. It's probably not very sanitary. I didn't clean it yet.
I noticed.
I mean,
Well-
hey, if you get hepatitis C, it's the least of your worries if you fucking put that thing in your head.
Well, you're lost. Hey, buddy, could you hand me that napkin back there? And sure enough, there's like a pile of napkins on the floor. They're they have a lot of dried blood on them, but you pick up one that's not dirty.
All right, I'll give it to him. But if he's driving right now, I'm telling him like focus on the road. Like
Yeah, I mean he like reaches over his shoulder to grab it real quick,
Okay.
and he goes, 1 second, I'm gonna drive on my knees for a second. Sure enough, the road gets very unstable for a minute as he coughs into this very vigorously and tosses it back in the back seat where the rest of the pile was, and you notice that it's covered in like fresh blood.
oh fuck. You guys, I'm gonna roll up the windows real casually and
You mean roll down?
breathe the air that's not from this car.
Yeah.
So bro, like, what materials are you using in these things? Like anything dangerous?
Oh, titanium, steel, copper, some old microchips and transistors from a little electronics around the house, old compads and the like. And then, to spark the psychic transformation, I've tried a whole lot of plethora of what is sort of sparkers, I guess you'd call them, something to inspire the change. I've tried gasoline and different forms of gas-related releases with vials. I've tried B15 had uranium in it. And I've also tried. There was some purple goo leaking out of a drain pipe that I found around the corner from my house. So I put that in there, and that one killed that worm immediately. So the purple goo was a no-go. I might try it again, but it was not promising.
Oh, I mean, like, dude, for your own safety, you might want to be a little careful. You seem to. Was that like blood that you just coughed out?
Oh yeah, but that's nothing to worry about. I've been coughing up blood for a while, and I'm still kicking crack.
Okay. Oh. Collie makes those noises.
Yeah, he just makes a bunch of like, ooh, ooh.
Collie will lean towards the window, trying to get a bit more fresh air. He pushes. If he's sitting next to the inventions, he'll like put them on the floor and try and not breathe in their air.
Hey, new best friends. Could one of you do me a favor? Could you either worm your way up here or just reach over and could you grab the wheel for a second?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Fuck.
You like climb up towards the center console and grab the wheel for a second. He's like, I'm just going to take a quick little. Oh boy, get a little lightheaded. I'm going to take a quick little nap. Hope you don't mind.
What the fuck?
This man is actively dying.
And sure enough, as you hold the wheel, the car begins to speed up as his foot's on the gas pedal.
I kind of slide down into his lap and kick his leg off the gas pedal, and then just drive myself.
Just sit in his lap. Like, sit in his
Yeah,
lap.
again, it's a messy transition. Call, you're in the back seat. Suddenly, there's a lot of turbulence as this hijacking takes place. But sure enough, Jenko, you're in his lap driving. You're able to barely look over the steering wheel. It's not really adjusted for your height at this moment. And the next couple hours go by. A couple hours have already been by, and then the second two fly by with Django driving. And as you guys sort of pull over onto like a side parking lot as you enter Polis city limits, he begins to wake up. Oh, look at that! We're already here, and that drive just flies by. Oh, hey, little buddy, what are you doing down there?
All right, yeah, Collie's gonna look at Jenko and be like, "Yeah, man, yeah, we appreciate the listen. It really meant a lot, but we do have a lot to do. But look at Buckos, and keep this coming." And he points at the inventions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And don't be afraid to give me a call if you're ever interested in investment. I'll make a new progress every single day.
Oh yeah. By the way, did you ever meet a general manager at Bucko's named Kitts?
Oh yeah, the Thraxon fella. He's a new manager. He just started a few days ago. He's my manager. I fucking hate him. He thinks he's the boss of me. I'll show him.
He might think he's the boss, but just know that he's fought cannibals in the desert and killed a couple.
Wow, landed out there.
He's
he hasn't talked about that.
Oh, he has severe anxiety from it. And that's why he's such an asshole. But just know.
If he could fight cannibals and killed them, then I'm sure I would have killed twice as many cannibals. That I don't like that guy. One bit. He thinks he can boss me around. He can't boss me around. I'm unbossable.
No.
I mean, that's what the cannibals said. And he killed them.
Well, we'll see about that. Or my name isn't Oleg Murmansk.
Gesundheit.
Just be safe at work around him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't show a craving for human flesh, or he might kill you too.
Don't show up late.
I'll show up whenever I want. He's not the boss of me. I mean, he is, but not for long. And he gets a weird look in his eye. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. He just immediately brightens up. Yeah, I'll tell him. Also, don't tell me what to do.
I suggest you tell him hi. You would both benefit from that interaction. Just a hunch.
Okay.
You want him to give fucking Kits whatever he's got? Yeah, enjoy TB, Kits. I like that Jenko could have either given him like the most like badass thing for a manager to say of like, oh yeah, this guy fucking killed cannibals, listen to him, or this guy killed cannibals and he has anxiety because of it. Don't use that against him.
Yeah. All right, you guys pile out of his car and you guys are in Polis. You guys have this guy's number, Oleg's number. He'll probably say hello to Kits. For what it's worth, this guy is an aspiring bourgeoisie or upperclassman. He is a menial cleaner or retail worker. He has a persistent sickness. He's a young adult. He wants power over those around him. And he's courageous.
Is that sickness contagious?
I'll never tell.
Oh, fuck me.
It doesn't say on the table.
Die because of a randomly generated character.
Let's stop at a pharmacy and take like a.
Let's go get an emergency.
Some airborne.
to not get infected with whatever we just breathed in for an hour.
Fantastic.
Nah, I'm with that. Can we do that very quick and then go to like the nearest tall building?
Okay, so you guys want to stop by an urgent care and get a quick like booster shot, basically. quick vaccine, or not a vaccine, but like a quick multivitamin injection, kind of like
Antibiotic.
antibiotic, yeah, shot. And then okay, cool. So that'll cost you 10 credits per.
All right, yeah, we're both getting it.
Just a easy enough. You guys are in and out in about 20 minutes. Short wait time. Just get a quick shot.
That's on me. That's on me, Michael. Just saying.
Oh, it's on you. Okay.
And then you guys head towards the starport from which you originally landed, and you start looking around for high buildings to get on top of. There is it looks like sort of a all-purpose office building that is pretty tall. There is an apartment complex that's about 15 floors, and there is what looks like a government building that is some 20 odd floors up as well. It looks like a municipal waste, they got waste management, they got traffic departments, they got all sorts of city based departments based out of here.
Okay.
Whatever is nearest to the spaceport, that's not the government building, I think.
I only mention them because they both have views. I'm not going to be like, there's a hotel, and you're like, okay, let's go there. I'm like, it doesn't actually look at the spaceport, though. And I'm like, well, why'd you tell us about it? So they would both work.
Okay.
The point is, it's up to you to choose.
Okay, before we go up, can I buy some kind of affordable but effective telescopic device to get like an actual good view of what we're looking at in your ships?
Yeah.
And keep the receipt and return it later.
Let's see. You can buy, I think, binoculars. Yeah, binoculars for 75 credits.
It's so expensive.
Or you can get a really nice pair for 200 credits. That has like digital zoom and like elevation level data on it.
I'll buy the regular one and then keep the receipt and read the receipt and see like if it's returnable or not. So I specifically want to return it later.
It is not returnable. This is a no refunds. This is a no refunds electronics store. It is run by a very old Vrukoid, and while they don't normally grow facial hair, this one has a very gray, long Fu Manchu, and he's like, he says as soon as he slides it over the counter to you, just so you know, no refunds.
Fuck me. Okay. All right. I'll take it. I feel like those come in handy in the future.
And you'll keep it because no refunds.
Weevil, use your binoculars.
I rolled to see if this place takes refunds, what their refund policy was. I got a natural one. I'm sorry. I was like, that's the worst thing for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
If I got at least a 5, you would have 30 days. It'd be cool, but.
Well, we have a new tool now for perception checks or whatever.
Yeah, it'll help you for sure. Yeah, you can add that to your inventory too. Takes up 1 encumbrance. And they're nice. They're metallic black binoculars. They have a couple different zoom levels. They aren't like super high tech, but they're like, I don't know, kind of the equivalent of like modern, or not modern, but like the equivalent of 21st century like military grade stuff. So like they're nice, but they're not future tech nice. Cool. And then where are you going after that?
The rooftop of maybe the hotel.
There wasn't a hotel.
Or whatever non-government building there was.
There was an office building and a government building
and an apartment complex.
I feel like the apartment complex is probably our best bet.
Yeah.
Considering like they're not gonna call security.
We can just say we're on a smoke break. Life.
Yeah. Like, bro, I'm on Smoko.
Somebody asked about voting.
Do you work here?
Can I buy like a?
Life is work.
Wait, so where did we buy
hard.
those binoculars? What kind of store?
Just an electronics store or like a general hardware store.
Oh, general hardware
Space
store. Do you think they'd
Bass
have
Pro.
like a high visibility vest?
Sure.
Did you make it like a
How
neon
much?
vest?
Yeah. Can I buy one for Jenko and I?
you both fit into one, and you're like,
This is my son.
Mine becomes a jumpsuit because I'm so small.
They have ones for Palgans there if you want. Sure, it's gonna be 10 credits per.
Oh my god, you're telling me the smaller version isn't cheaper?
No, because it's specialty made.
Yeah, but it's less material.
Have you ever gone to like a clothing store? The extreme smalls and the extreme larges are usually more than like a medium.
That's fucking ridiculous.
It's less material, but they make less of them.
Yeah, but we're in space, Alex.
Supply and demand. Humans are the vast majority, so like yours, if anything, would be cheaper.
Like, that's racist, dog, and I'll throw 20 on the counter.
Yeah, I don't make the rules.
Well, could you like do us a favor? We just bought. You know what? Fuck it. Thanks. Let's go, Jenko. Throw this on. And Jenko and I are now wearing. Do I have to put that in my inventory?
I mean, I would.
Okay. Let me add to armor. I'll just add like high visibility vest, I guess.
Yeah. it's technically, what's funny is it's almost like technically like war paint is what the game describes sometimes this as, where it's like bizarre combat fashions, scrap built street harness, or like a collection of tattoos that, if anything, just kind of inspire you rather than provide actual protection. I mean, it is just clothes, but if we're going to classify it as armor, it would be close to what's called war paint, which I think is very funny.
Yeah. So how do you want to do this, Alex? One encumbrance.
Yeah, just do one encumbrance.
It's readied instead of my secure. It's readied instead of my secure clothing, or can I ready both?
You can put it on
That
top
way,
of your.
I'm not-
Yeah, you can put it on top.
Alright, word. 'Cause that's weird. That puts me at 4 readied. Like I feel like this doesn't really matter considering it doesn't really do much. I'm just like.
Well, it's just your readied you have 2 different inventory spaces, right? One's readied, one's stowed. So
Yeah.
it's taking a readied point instead of a stowed point.
All right, so I guess I'll turn off my force pavis. All right.
Which, I mean, you could have your force pavis, your secure clothing. You can have all that readied as long as you have the points for it.
Yeah, I just need to not ready a weapon then.
Probably a good idea to not walk around with a gun in this this apartment building.
Full of eyebrow staff. I'm using it as a cool walking stick, but you know. Okay, yeah. So I have my secure clothing, my force pavis, my high vis vest. Jenko, you got your binoculars, your high vis, and some sort of clothing. Let's like go to the apartment building, bro. If we get questioned by anyone, let's say we were hired by the landlord.
Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't ask us too many questions. I feel like guests are allowed in these places typically. But
Yeah, true. Let's get going.
Yeah, you guys meander over to this huge apartment building, and why don't you guys just quickly give me a check? I think I would take sneak dex, sneak charisma, or perform charisma. Seem like kind of like the 3 ones that jump out would be applicable. work charisma.
WERK.
Twerk charisma.
Oh, good shit.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, between the two of you, it's a doorman building, and so you don't need to get buzzed in. And the doorman looks at you, and you give him a confident nod, and he just kind of smiles at you. You walk by, and yeah, you guys are able to essentially.
I knew we should buy the vest.
You guys are essentially able to get to the roof without trouble. I'm not going to put anything in your way. The vests were a good idea. Yeah. Great. So yeah, you guys get up to the roof. Sunny day, clear enough skies, clouds above head, not really interfering with your view of things. And you're able to set up, lean on the wall, get the binoculars out, and make some observations about the starport. We're gonna cut over to Janko and Kali as you guys are on the roof. I know. I said Janko, and as I said Janko, I was like, shit, I meant somebody else, but I was like, let me just finish the sentence. We're gonna cut to the same people we were just with.
The camera pans away and then pans right back down.
Camera does a 360. We cut to Rhodey and Weevil, who are leaving the hotel. And
Mr. Roadkill, I have information that I believe would be of great importance. Please lean in and listen to this speaker.
All right, I guess. Rhodey will flinch away and look at him, and then he will rip ass. Much for that same effect.
Damn. It's not what I expected. I thought you were going to hit him with, Rhodey, I have important information. Lean in, listen.
Running this shit like Jim Thorpe.
No, I never cut that. I completely forgot to get that sound effect for myself.
Anyway.
But, yeah. So, with that in mind, I mean, I think we should basically do exactly what they just did. You know, like we discussed, looking for a high visibility area that would allow us to view the spaceport. And you know, it sounds like we don't really have to worry about being within the Warriors' territory while doing it. But I think we need to be a little bit more careful about, like, picking an area where we can lay low and not arouse too much suspicion, considering Godwater probably has guards and, you know, has at least some of his bases covered in that regard. I'm not saying he'll lock down every building, but we should probably just play it safe and scope things out from a distance before we decide to make a move.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think, although, you know, Rhodey doesn't know that they just got high-vis vests to blend in.
I know.
That's not a bad idea. Doing something like that too, depending on what we're going to be walking into. But yeah, we'll head over there. We'll see like what buildings there are, and if you know there's an opportunity for something like that, we'll do that.
Cool. So you guys just begin kind of walking over from one district to another towards the edge of the city and the spaceport, following, you know, your Google Maps. Easy enough. There is another, similar to the other situation. There are, you guys are able to pick out roughly 3 buildings that you think are immediately suitable. There is a tall office building as well for just kind of corporate managerial office work. It looks like this whole building belongs to it's a remote office for a tech company called Argos Industries.
Okay.
You know that they make starships and also a few different types of industrial equipment. So they got that building. There is also a, weirdly enough, visitor viewpoint, kind of just like a very large tower you take an elevator up to, and you're able to enjoy the view of the desert around you, kind of like a scenic lookout.
Sure.
As well as
like Rockefeller Center, kind of like where it's like at the top of the rock, just like you pay to get up there. And no, like that's a thing. I'm not bullshitting.
yeah, or like okay. the top of the Empire State Building, where you can just hang out there.
That's a better example. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there is a rundown apartment building.
We should buy high-vis vests and go into the apartment building.
I'll kill you.
I mean, honestly, the visitor viewpoint seems like the best
100%.
possible area, and there's probably going to be a cost associated with that, but hoping it's not too much because it's fucking Junus and we're not going to like a super high expensive area. It's like 5 a.m. when we go there. So that's sounds like we're leaning towards that.
Cool. Yeah, you begin to meander over in that direction because it seems like the most inconspicuous place to hang out with a view of the spaceport. And as you get there, there is a guard outside, a dude in a high-vis vest, sweeping around with a big sort of it's weird. It's half broom, half vacuum, sucking up debris, loose sand, and the like. And as you kind of approach him, he's like, he's an older Gracool gentleman, kind of small for a Gracool size, forearms, sandstone skin. Are you here for the lookout?
Yeah,
Yes.
we just wanted to go up there and, look out on this beautiful desert around us. We love it so much.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm hoping to identify any local bird species, as I'm a bit of an aficionado.
Oh, yeah, the desert around here is real pretty, especially when the sun rises. That's for sure. I don't know about too many birds, though. Maybe you get a vulture here and there. But sorry to tell you, the lookout doesn't open till 7, folks. So you got another hour and 15 or so before we take this security measures down. And he looks over at like it's 2 poles with a single non-taut chain dangled between them, preventing you from accessing the stairs to the elevator.
Is there any way that we could get in early, as we want to watch the sunrise, and we are afraid we will miss it?
You just said how beautiful it is.
Oh, yeah, it's so pretty. See, I don't know.
Well,
I
what
got-
if we slip you a couple extra credits and you let us in early, let us by. We just want to see the sunrise, especially after what you said.
Oh, gee. Oh, gosh. Oh, golly. Why don't you get on the floor and roll for me, Dylan?
All right, hold on.
You roll around a little.
I'm on fire!
Hey,
All right,
Dylan,
been
give me
rolling for,
a stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what came out when I tried to roll. Okay, which roll? Would we be doing talk?
Talk
or,
charisma seems the most straightforward.
I am known to be not very charismatic. And it has been proven just now.
Yeah, he looks at you with the 2, and oh gosh, I don't. It's like that. I don't really need the money, and I just don't want to get in trouble,
May I propose a solution?
Huh?
Look over there.
Right,
And Weevil points with one big, stretched out arm.
Why? What's over there? And he looks.
He walks behind him and says,
You are not looking, therefore you are not responsible.
and he steps over the barrier.
No, I'm looking. What am I supposed to be looking at? And he's not. He's still looking away.
Anywhere. I do not know. Anywhere but here.
Rudy's gonna join Weevil. you just keep looking. You'll see it. You almost got it. It's right there.
Tell me what I'm supposed to be looking at. I just don't. Is that guy over there? What's it? What about him?
It might be. You just
From
gotta study
increasingly
him.
further away, yeah.
Yeah. You
A
guys.
little bit behind him. No, it is to his left. Right. No, yeah, you are getting warmer.
Yeah, you step over the loose chain, walk up the half flight of stone steps, and press the button to call the elevator. And for like 30 seconds, you guys are just buying time. Yeah, no, keep looking. No, it's past that guy. Actually, it's behind him. Look around him. And the elevator comes down, and as the doors open, he hears the ding, and he turns around and he goes, "Oh no, hey guys, you can't be over there." And he starts he's an older guy, so he starts walking towards you. He's like, "Hey, don't hold the door.
I'm mashing the close button.
Okay. He steps over the he goes to step over the chain, and his foot gets snagged, and he falls over on the other side. You guys hear like a crack, and he goes, "Oh, my leg! Ow, my leg!"
As that happens, I put my hand in the door and I go out to help him because I'm not going to let an old man get injured on our behalf in such a stupid way.
Yeah, honestly, that's the right move. Brody's gonna take the elevator up.
Yeah, go for it, dude. Weevil will he sees a familiar face in an old man and getting injured, and he stoops down and he
says, "I apologize. That was perhaps a lapse in judgment on my part. Let me help you up."
And he's going to help this guy to his feet, give him, like, "Oh, do not put any weight on that." And let him take him limp off to the side while Weevil assesses the damage and does what he can. Like, I don't have any fucking healing medicine on me. I inject him with psych. I can kill God. I don't have anything that I can really do to help him other than use my first aid kit to, try and apply like a compression wrap to stop him from the bones from shifting around.
You inject this man with psych, and he looks you dead in your LED screen and says,
"I'm going to kill LeBron James and Ariana Grande, and then hit the gritty,
No, so you have a med kit you're gonna use on him, right?
First aid. Just I think it's med kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that allows me to roll 2d6 per patient treated on for granting long-term recuperative care, but I don't know if that's applicable for something.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is, here's what we'll do. You can roll. We basically, you can apply a splint with some bandages, right? You have that kind of stuff in there. But I want you to roll 2d6 because there's the thing. If you roll a 12, you're going to run out of a useful material, and that med kit will need restocking. So the chance you're going to use your last of your bandage on this guy or something like that. But you can give him a splint by applying this. Yeah.
That's 5.
Yeah, so you're solid. You take a minute to wrap his ankle up and, use like a medical grade stick you have essentially in there to give it a splint. It looks like a minor sprain fracture. And he'll be okay eventually. He is going to be limping around for a little while for sure, though. He's like, "Well, oh, God, gosh darn it. Oh, I may not sound like it, but I'm boiling mad at you and your friend here, all right? I'm very upset with you guys. You guys tried to trick me."
"I am sorry. I wanted to see the sunrise, but it is not worth watching someone get hurt over something so trivial."
"Well, it's too late. I'm already hurt." "Oh, gosh."
Weevil dispenses a lollipop for him.
Oh.
I don't think I can, but
one pops out of your open chest compartment. Oh, good God. He takes it and puts it through his tusks, and he's like, "Cherry is my favorite."
That is watermelon.
Maybe I could get cherry's my favorite. I'm telling you that you let me down again. You should have given me a cherry one.
That is the last 100-year-old lollipop Weevil had in his chest cavity.
I can't rightly stop you from going up now, so I guess just go up. Oh, God, he says in a very defeated tone. Maybe I can get workers' comp for this. I don't know.
Weevil... God, dude, this feels fucking awful. The Weevil is going to sit with this guy until... What time is it? It's like an hour 15 before it opens up and Rhodey is already up there.
Yeah.
Weevil is going to sit with this guy and show him pictures. Like, he's going to talk with this guy for the full hour and 15 until they open and show him pictures of birds and stuff and pictures of Rally too, and be like,
And this here is an old friend of mine who you remind me of. Again, I apologize for the injury that you sustained in trying to just do your job.
and so he's
Give me,
like,
can you give me a D100 real quick, Connor?
He turns into a Fey beast.
Okay, great.
78.
Great. On a 1, you were gonna go past the picture. You probably didn't want to show him.
Oh,
What the fuck was that?
Robot dog.
I know exactly which one
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
I don't know if you guys ever listened to Weevil's pre-session, but he took nudes for his robot girlfriend. So he doesn't talk about her much. She goes to a different school. You guys wouldn't know her. Anyway, you sit with him for a while, Rhodey. You're a little confused. Where the fuck is Weevil? But you get up there, and yeah, it's a gorgeous view as the sun's like not up yet, and it looks like it's not going to be up for another hour. But you're got your eyes on the starport, and everybody's in place. You're in place, and yeah, shooting enough.
Now, here's a
you
question for you.
Yeah.
So Rhodey's, or rather Candy's penistal has a scope on it. That scope is a 2x magnification, so not helpful. Would it be, I guess, like logical that we would have gotten binoculars, or am I out there with my hands cupped around my eyes trying to look at this?
You're looking through your fucking phone screen, I guess. So yeah, you guys didn't buy binoculars. The other group stopped and bought binoculars. You guys didn't. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we did not. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. 100% right.
You guys should have got some high vis vests.
Binoculars, dude.
Oh yeah,
I don't. I explicitly don't.
He comes
Right,
equipped with lollipops.
When Weevil gets to the top, he just sees Rhodey looking through Candy's penistals to magnification scope.
I'm trying to shoot the sun.
Help. Yeah. Does not help at all.
Fucking 45 minutes into your conversation with this old man, Weevil, he goes, "Oh my god, there's a gunman in the tower!" Points up at the silhouette of Rhodey looking through a dick-shaped gun.
Yeah, it essentially looks like a fucking dildo with a scope on it.
Fucking cyberpunk ass gun.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that hour goes by. He says, "All right, we're technically open up. Could you just do me a favor and unhook that chain?"
Yeah, I'll do that.
And you're able to go up now. He goes, "It's 5 credits per person. Your friend went up without paying."
I'll pay him. I'll pay him 15 credits with 5 for his trouble.
Oh, gee, thank you. This will almost pay for my medical bills.
Hell yeah.
Great.
God damn you, Rhodey. The visual of him like being like, "All right, see ya," waiting for an hour and a half and then pointing a gun at the sun without having paid for any of this is amazing.
Well, I mean, hey, that's Rhodey for you. He's not.
I love it.
He's definitely not paying.
All right. We flash to Janko and Kali, and we're gonna do some quick rolls. Let me. One of you guys give me a D10.
Hit me, Janko. Okay. Well, nice.
Or don't.
I'll need it.
An 8. Solid. And then I would need a total of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a total of 8 D10s. So you do 4 each, guys.
Roger.
Oh, 8 D10s. Okay.
Yeah, so 4 per person now.
Can I re-roll the 1, I guess?
No, this isn't a check, so you're good.
No.
1's not necessarily bad.
Okay. Michael, you only rolled 3.
Yeah, Michael, I need one more from you. That first one was to determine how many D10s you roll. So 8.
Oh, okay.
And then 4 and 4.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Kali, over the course of the next few hours, you are able to take photos of 4 individual ships.
that have taken off. I'm assuming taken off is your priority. You know, like if a ship lands and doesn't leave before noon, you're probably not concerned about it, right?
Yeah, I only care about ships that are flying away.
Solid. So the first one you take a photo of is a moderately sized white and gold colored shuttle. It looks luxurious. It looks fancy. And you're able to determine it is a Nexus brand ship by looking at it. Nexus is a high-end starship manufacturing company. Kind of, you know.
Nexus NEXUS?
IS, but yeah. It's a very fancy luxury ship that takes off around 9 in the morning. After that, you get a... sorry, for what it's worth, it is a shuttle ship that has a crew of 1 to 10 people. So it's like that's roughly the size of it, right? The next one is a police boat, a patrol boat, crew of 15 to 20, slightly bigger. It is a Nova Corps, essentially like Vanguard-esque military ship. You know, a cruiser that flies around settled Nova Corps space and makes sure that nothing's going on in the system. It patrols around.
So heavily armored, heavily weaponized.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But it is like it's a cop car. You know what I mean? So there's reason to believe. Yeah, there's reason to believe that it's not maybe what you're looking for. The next one you recognize as a Mako Mark VI industrial ore miner strike fighter with graffiti on the side that reads Billy's Tours. And the last one that lands, or rather, last one that takes off is a massive carrier. That is a crew of 3,000 to 1,500. Basically, it is a Isabella-sized fucking cargo ship. This one in particular, it is a giant dark navy green fucking block shithouse, very basic and industrial in make. And you read on the side, it says Valman Starships is the manufacturer. You know that they generally make they're like the Honda of space. They make not very expensive products, but really reliable ones.
Okay, let me read this back to you then. I have a moderately sized white gold ship, Nexus brand, shuttles about 1 to 10 people, pretty fancy. Police boat, crew 15 to 20, military grade. Mako Mark VI, graffiti reads fucking Billy's Tours. And a fourth ship, it's a massive carrier, navy green shithole, crew of 1,500 to 3,000, Volman Starships.
Yep.
Okay.
Janko, you get a photos of similar ships. You get a another strike fighter. This one dark red, cannot leave the system. Houses 1 person, right? This is somebody's like personal spacecraft that they probably fly around the planet. They're probably pretty well to do, whoever it is, because they have their own ship. But this thing's not leaving the fucking system, right? So yeah, it only seats 1 person. You know, it's probably not what you're looking for, but they take off and fly in a different direction than most of these ships coming in and taking off. Most of these people are heading towards the edge of the system. This thing looks like it's heading towards a different spot on the planet. Real sleek red design, kind of like a race car-esque looking strike fighter, but yeah, probably not what you need. The next one, it's a bulk freighter, houses about 10 to 40 people. This thing is definitely like an industrial ore miner ship. They're taking off. You see people in high-vis vests loading onto it prior to this. You're only able to make them out because they're fucking neon colored high-vis vests. This thing looks like it's some sort of industrial, you know, kind of work ship, and they're heading out
probably to do some sort of labor. It's big, it's gray. It also is marked with Valman starships on the side. The next one is the same patrol boat that Collie gets, and then the last one is a Corvette, a moderate size, pretty large, all things considered, 10 to 40 kind of passenger ship. It's gray, kind of shaped like a tube, almost like a camper. It reads Tavin Corp on the side, Tavin. Looks very round, kind of sleek. You know that this is that corporation is known for their sort of oblong, strange designs. They're like the Nintendo controller builders of starships, always trying to reinvent the wheel. But yeah,
I dig that little bit of lore. That's like such a neat little thing to throw in there.
those are the 8 ships that end up taking off within your 5-6 hour stint of watching the starport.
Wait,
Okay.
you mentioned
Or 7.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, in addition to watching these ships, can I use the binoculars to look for windows in the spaceport, or like maybe like a nice sort of VIP or executive wing where there might be like rich people like Godwater waiting for their flights? And also
Like
a question:
concierge lounge.
Are all of these flights being boarded from like tunnel things that extend to the
No,
ships,
yeah,
or are they-
you'd kind of walk out onto the landing pad and kind of board via your starship's ramp that folds down. So there's small windows where, given that there aren't other buildings in your way, and given that you have the binoculars centered right on the point that you need to get to, you could potentially see people. So for
Okay.
these ships, Janko, I guess the 4 you saw, including the patrol boat, I'll give you a check for that. Why don't you give me notice wisdom feels fair +2 for your binoculars?
Yeah, I'm specifically looking for women, or like just
Aren't we
female-
all?
Yeah,
Looking
man
for
looking for women.
broads.
I'm looking for human-sized women, maybe with their head
Human-sized women.
I appreciate.
I put
you
that
need
on
to
my-
clarify because it's
yeah.
aliens, but yeah, that's I want human-sized women.
I put that on my Hinge profile. Seeking human-sized woman who likes to have fun.
She human on my size until I hinge.
Um, Is it notice? Notice wisdom?
Oh, God.
yeah, notice wisdom +2. Can you tell me what you get? Sorry, I've stepped away.
And 8. It's 1 + 5 + 2.
Cool. With an 8, you're not able to get everybody. You notice that on the police boat, you're able to watch that one pretty intensely, because you're like, it's the most heavily armored, that could be it. The only person you see get on it is one human-sized person, and they are wearing a police uniform, and they are carrying lots of fucking coffee, like just trays of it. It's been sitting there since you got there, so it looks like, who knows, maybe like a shift is starting or something. But you gather nobody's boarding, like they haven't boarded this one. It's probably not that one. And then for the Tavin Core kind of tubular gray ship, you see a litany of people wearing of various shapes and sizes. You see about 25 to 30 people roughly getting on this in groups of 2 to 4 to 1 to 4 to 2, small groups, every few minutes for a good like half hour or so. They're filtering in, and a lot of them have luggage with them. You do not, with an 8, unfortunately, you do not specifically see Collie's mom or Joseph Godwater or anybody in like one of these groups where it's like, oh, this is like a lady and she's with a bunch of dudes in like suits, you know, like nothing that stands out very clearly to what you're looking for. From what you can tell, it's a little hazy because of the desert sun and the heat waves and the distance, and you know, like the binoculars are almost like a little shaky from this distance because it's of the magnification. It's not, you're not able to make out a lot of like facial features. There's a slim possibility you feel like that's the ship, but it's slim. You feel like maybe not. You know, this seems like a passenger ship going somewhere else. And those are the two you're able to make out. You're not so able to get a great look at the Strike Fighter and the bulk freighter? Yeah. And she's probably not on the bulk freighter either, you figure, because you saw dudes in high vis vests. But yeah, those are your ships. We will cut to Rhodey and Weevil. Similar thing, except for you guys, I want a D4 from one of you.
Up to you. Who wants to do it, Rhodey?
Yeah, I got it. I'll do it.
You guys both get to potentially roll.
Ooh,
Yeah, baby.
Oh hell yeah!
just like I like it.
There is only one ship. There's like one ship that takes off here.
Okay. Question: Am I better able to find Collie's mom because I've been thinking about her fantastic jugs for so long?
Only if you take your.
You've actually got such a built-up image of her in your head. You would not recognize a real woman.
Yeah, he's been putting her on a pedestal. She's 8 feet tall and radiates light. I didn't see anyone who looks like that. I just saw some dumb blonde bitch. That wasn't her.
She needs flowers grow in her wake.
Yeah. She hovers off of the ground. This dumb bitch was using her legs. Jesus. I don't know how I mixed that one up. Great.
You think Rhodey would use the words "dumb bitch" to describe a woman?
This
No
tall
way.
queen.
Just hag.
This beautiful, effervescent queen with fantastic juggy jugs.
Well, this is somebody that you don't like, but
Well, still, Rhodey's a progressive.
Godwater is a queen.
Weevil, Connor, why don't you give me a D? What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, D10. Fuck it.
10, baby.
Fuck.
Whoa.
Boy.
I am scientifically the perfect person for this job.
All right, one ship takes off. It's impossible to not
Honestly,
fucking.
built-in binoculars.
This is not how well you see the ship. This is just what kind of ship it is. And 10 is the dumbest one. You see a fucking carrier take off. It's the only ship. Impossible to miss because this thing is massive. It takes 300 people minimum to crew this kind of ship, 1,500 maximum. It is fucking huge. Again, this ship's like bigger than the Isabella. You know? This is a fucking town on wheels, basically, you know? But yeah, it is a massive, Steinway Industries, carrier ship. For what it's worth, this thing costs $60 million if you wanted to buy it, potentially.
Oh, easy. We'll buy it before it leaves.
Too late. Yeah, and why don't one of you guys give me notice wisdom, and you can give me a +1 because whoever doesn't roll is assisting.
I will say I was +0. I don't know if Rhodey has a negative or a positive.
Let's not metagame about it, but
Yeah, fair enough.
Rhodey is maybe not the most observant person in the world,
Okay,
but he's
so-
happy to look through his 2 times magnification scope.
I
He's drunk
mean,
right now.
you can go ahead and do that, or Weevil will. I feel okay with Weevil rolling it as well because he's the one who is, I guess, dialed in this moment.
He's got the binoculars.
I can imagine that Rhodey's focused because he's too sober.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
looks like I'm used to seeing 2 of everything. There's only 1 right now.
Yeah, it's because I got the shake, so it's hard to focus up.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go ahead and roll that then. Notice whiz.
Mhm.
+1. 10.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay, you notice a lot of people getting on this ship over the course of several hours, right? It takes a long time to fill up. And you're getting discouraged because it's just a lot of people, and it's going to be hard to pick out any individual one person when you want to pick out of the crowd. But about 45 minutes in, you begin to notice something. Every single person getting on this ship is a woman. There's different alien races. There's humans, there's Palgans, there's Grakul. But you notice that you're like, okay, that's not who I'm looking for. That's a redhead woman. That's some brunette lady. That's some little lady Palgan wearing a dress. That's some other. Wait a minute. These are all. Where the fuck are the men?
Yeah, is that also true of the crew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just notice a lot of women getting on this ship over the course of 2 hours, and this thing shakily lifts off and leaves orbit. Fucking blows your hair back how big this thing is.
Is there any, I mean, granted, we have a very narrow window. A single ship took off from this port, and it's a massive one, so chances are we'll be able to trace it in some capacity. Is there any, like, name on the side of it, or, like, organization affiliated with it?
Yeah, so you know what? So like I said, you know it's a Steinway's Industries brand ship. But there's not like a giant like SS motorboat on the side of it.
SS Jugland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times, unless you're like a pirate ship or like just like a cool independent crew who wants to graffiti shit on the side of your ship, you don't really put a whole lot of like call signs on it. Primarily because like it doesn't, unlike seeing a boat on the horizon, like space is so vast and empty that like you're gonna detect a ship thousands of miles on your sensor before you're going to have any visual on it. So there's way more prioritization on identifying yourself via, digital signature and call signs rather than actually writing something on the side of your boat. So it doesn't really, people only do that when they're just like, I want to be cool.
Right, like just a vanity.
So a honk if you're horny bumper sticker isn't going to do much?
Yeah, that's the thing, is like you're doing that for a lark, you're doing that kind of more for yourself than anybody else. So a lot of people just kind of don't bother.
Yeah, while I'm still looking at them shortly before they take off, I'm assuming most of the people getting on the ship are passengers, right? Like they look like they don't look like they're crew members. They're okay. So very interesting that they'd all be women. And with a fucking capacity of 1,500 people, it would be a miracle to pick out a specific person from a distance, especially one that he'd only seen once.
You hear the old man from downstairs. Oh my God, they're taking our women.
My wife is gone.
Where are they all going? No.
Okay, cool. So,
you don't see Colley's mom specifically, unfortunately, but there's a lot of people, and you can't see them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one ship. So yeah, and you guys hang around till noon, and that's the only one that takes off. So you guys both grab a couple photos of it. There you go.
Cool. I guess now just to clarify, that is we don't feel like we missed ships. There is literally just one ship that took off, right? Like we had eyes on this thing, and it's not like we're like, oh, I sneezed and I thought I heard a jet engine. Did I fucking miss another ship?
No, it would not be that quick. You would be able to look away and hear a ship or whatever, like look away and look back, and the time it takes for a ship to look like it's launching, like the ramp to fold up, the engines to fire up, it leaves the ground, the landing gear goes up, it flies into the sky and no longer becomes visible, like that's a couple minutes, right? So
right.
you'd be able to get a photo of it if you guys are even remotely diligent, just hanging out up there.
All right. Well, I guess it's convenient that the the one ship the people who don't have any binoculars find is also the largest type that we probably could have gotten.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are at the fucking smaller port too, so you guys have the lighter load for sure. Although it is hilarious to me, the concept of like, hey, we blinked, did we potentially miss one? It's like, yeah, you did. Great. You sneezed at a ship that it is 500 tons of weight, just like took off like that. Just entered hyperdrive from a sitting position on the ground.
It took out an entire city block, but
0 from faster to light in 0.005 seconds.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so Weevil, like, I mean, assuming we're keeping an open chain of communication, Weevil will text the pictures of the ship and say, I believe that this is a possible target to the group chat, and then send a bunch of emojis of just women, but like holding the finger press. Oh, this is a woman who has white skin. This is a black woman. This is, just like all the different skin color options. And then presumably like fucking 15 different fur colors for Palgans. And he just does that for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. You get a text from Kits that says, why I'm on this group chat. Weevil, are you racially profiling women? What's happening?
Honestly, I feel like Kits would have been like, "Oh boy, my old friends."
No, yeah, he would be excited, but I couldn't make it Sarah because I'm like, I know you. It needs to be a joke.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you guys have open communication, so you guys have your little group chat, and you guys know, okay, noon has come and gone. It doesn't look like there's a huge amount of ships continuing to take off. If the schedule hasn't changed and she's set to leave in the morning, which, even if it has like changed because of your, mishap at the Warrior's Den, it's probably not a good idea for Joseph to be like, no, we'll leave tomorrow now and give her more time to be kidnapped. So chances are, if she left this morning.
Collie sends a bunch of funny cat memes that are sleeping and says, let's meet back at the hotel.
Hell yeah. Weevil and Rhodey get there within 10 minutes.
Collie fucking shows some leg.
Let me roll up another NPC. No. Yeah, you're able to get a bus ride back for free, public transportation. You sit in the back of the bus and just,
What's the bus driver like?
The bus driver is an old Wilford Brimley mustached human man, portly belly, cracked tan skin from his years and years catching the rays off the windshield of the sun, and as he gets on the bus, as you guys get on the bus, he spits on the floor and says, "Filthy Palgan."
Nice.
He's a racist.
All right, dude. We're just gonna go to the back of the bus.
Yeah, you don't feel like talking to him.
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah.
To reinforce his prejudice as I walk.
Yeah. He goes, "Don't you leave any balls of chewed up my skeletons on my back seat. I know who you Palgans are."
I'll leave him under the front seat.
Always vomiting. You have a pleasant bus ride back though, and he's like, "I don't know why I let you on for free. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm so racist. I should have charged you double. Shit, my character arc doesn't make any sense."
Double zero,
He was
still zero, baby.
He forgot to check if we were paying, and he just zoned out.
He was so racist. He was seeing red, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, did I just see a Palgan walk by? Oh, I did, and he didn't pay. Damn it! I'm too fat to get up."
Yeah, but it's too late now. I tripped and I broke my leg earlier.
Oh no!
I hear it's going around. It's contagious. Yeah, you guys get a bus ride back to Junis and are able to reconvene at the hotel.
You're back in your dingy room with your photos of
Weevil
Starship and different races of women.
Hell yeah! I've redecorated the hotel room to look like a medical doctor's office. And so Weevil is probing Rhodey when you enter, and
What?
yeah, this is my fan fiction.
Is a prostate exam?
Yes. Look, if I stick my hand up far enough, I can make him talk. No, then none of that is true. Weevil is poring over the data in the hard drive and hoping to see if he finds anything of interest for himself, but that is all he's doing.
Yeah, you get some time to kill.
with the general descriptions of, I mean, first things first. I think we should go to bed. We're about to get us some exhaustion.
Oh yeah, you guys have been up for almost 48 hours now.
I think we should all go to sleep.
Yeah, and it's probably around like 4
There.
p.m.
Do that on the way back. Rhodey stopped and got some beers, and he's asleep in the bathtub.
Like, dude, I know, like, I please don't let this sound ungrateful, and I really appreciate the help, but I think we should all catch some Z's, man. It's been quite a while.
I'm assuming, honestly, Collie and Janko, you guys get a little catnap in on the 4-hour fucking road trip back to Junis.
Maybe.
Bus. It's pretty safe. There's other people sleeping. It's but yeah, you guys definitely need some Z's, and Weevil, you got to shut down for a little while. You're getting all sorts of hardware and software errors in the corner of your screen.
Yeah, he's running, his internal CPU temperature is like 3 degrees Celsius higher than normal and is slowly going up because he can't clear his cache fast enough. So yeah, he'll be on board if we want to take a rest.
Cool. Assuming you guys go for enough rest to reset your batteries and feel kind of still fucked up when you wake up based on the fact that it's just like, you probably need a little bit of extra time to recover from this, but you're good for the day and you'll feel better probably tomorrow. You guys sleep like a good 8 hours, so you wake up and the sun's going down. It's like 8 p.m. It's actually no. It's probably it's probably closer to like 4. You got elongated days here, so.
I forget how Stars Without Number Rest works. Is that full health?
No. I think you get as many HP equal to your level. Let me double check on that.
When you have good rest or something like that, there's a stipulation that you need to be like in a safe place. And
yeah, which this is. It's a hotel room.
Yeah.
Lifestyles. This is all equipment. It's all equipment all the way down. I don't need.
Oh boy.
I don't need guns. Environmental hazards, character advancement. We're so close. Hacking, combat maneuvers. Fucking combat skill checks. What the fuck, dude? I give up. I don't know. I always get fucking bewildered by the way they organize the front end of this book because it's not the way you think it would be. Injury, death, and healing. Here it is. Critically injured target has been stabilized. Blah blah blah. If they're healed with some blah blah blah. Critically injured. Without such advanced healing, critically wounded. Blah blah blah. Creatures that have suffered damage but not been mortally injured equal hit points equal to their hit dice or character level after each night of good rest. That's all it is. Yep.
So character level?
Yeah, character level.
A whole 3 hit points.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
So, yeah, so you guys wake up. It is late afternoon, early evening. You feel groggy and like you know, but it was good sleep. And Weevil, you've reset your cache files and the like. What do you do?
Cool. So Weevil, I would like to say that I would have spent a bit of time specifically looking for hard drive stuff, maybe trying to pin down more specific information about the drug trade now that I know, like, kind of, there may be information about, like, past sales and maybe they've got encrypted files I can try to work through, so that way I can hopefully hand information on a silver platter to the Junis officials, which I know they're not immediately going to pay me for, but like, you know, make it more compelling than a single text message.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Between, you know, the fact that you need to rest kind of shorter than everybody else, I believe you need pretty much like a Warforged, rest half the time in a night. And then also you didn't have to wait on a bus for 4 hours. You had some time to sit with this hard drive, either before or after your sleep. Why don't you give me a programming check?
Yeah, baby. Ooh, 11.
Solid. I don't suppose you want to use an inspiration on that, do you?
Does that tell me if you? I think you tell me
This-
it's success before I.
It's technically a success, but it's just going to be one of those like sliding scale ones where an 8 gets you some information, a 10 gets you more information, a 12 gets you more information, a 14 gets you the best at everything you want.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and fucking add a point to that and get a 12.
Solid. So with an 8, you find some saved data about the drug trade, like some text messages and shit that have been backed up that you gather Pigloo is probably going to use for blackmail on people. A lot more naming names and a lot more locations and specifics, you know, things that he's erased from his phone in case it gets stolen, but kept it in probably like a hidden spot. This hard drive was supposed to be hidden, but he was currently using it when you found it, just in case. So there is a small litany of about a dozen local dealers that there is information about where they're selling, their numbers, like how much TEF they're moving on a weekly basis, and also personal dirt on them, things that their vices. This guy, he's been dipping into the product, so you know, if Pigley needs to get one over on him, he can use his drug addiction against him. This guy has a thing for prostitutes. This guy is a gambling addict, etc., etc. As well as, like I said, location, street corners they'll deal from. So there is some more concrete evidence on that.
God damn, this feels like this could be really useful.
Yeah. I mean, it's all technically hearsay. Basically, there's no proof, but it's also from an inside source, so you know it's probably good information. And if you go and follow up this either personally or give this to the cops and they follow up on it, chances are it'll lead to a lot of small arrests for sure. With a 10. You also find more concrete information on the construction and production of the lab and the material. There is also information there about the scientists that they have making the stuff in the lab, as well as a couple of small pieces of information. Very, very. This one doesn't name a lot of names, but it mentions their supply source coming in from a Valman Starships brand supply ship every couple of weeks.
Is there any date on that? Like, I'm curious if it would be like departure today, because we've seen a couple Valman ships, so I'm wondering if there can maybe be a correlation.
It's not
there.
it's probably not the ones you saw, and if it was, then like there's no up-to-date information. A lot of the data on this hard drive is backed up stuff, so this is from like months, a couple months ago. So this is it's all slightly dated information, but probably still relevant kind of deal.
Right, and probably still ahead of whatever law enforcement would have access to.
Yeah, it's not outdated, it's just also not super fresh. Like, oh shit, that was the ship we just saw, right? Which, I mean, it very well could have been, because it's like this is a reoccurring supply drop every few weeks. But
nothing that like can like
nothing
like
super
up-to-date
concrete
logs, because this is like his cache data kind of thing.
Yeah, this is like our and he's also nothing super specific on this end of the business, but he lists a name as an old professor who they have
kidnapped, but he's come around and now works for them. Giles McCormick, and that's their chief lab tech. He names this motherfucker by name. And finally, with a 12, you encounter some encoded credits, some digital, basically some Bitcoin behind a firewall that if you can essentially hack past, unencrypt, you'll have access to essentially some Bitcoins on a thumb drive.
Cool. Do I have any way of knowing the rough approximation of the value of that?
It's hard to tell because it's all jumbled up right now, but based on some other information on the hard drive, you gather it's probably a couple thousand.
Cool. Would I be able to do that with what resources I have? Like, can I just like try and get past that by running my own decryption software and trying to get into it? Or I'm curious what the stakes are. Like, if I fail, will I was gonna say
it's gonna be difficult, and if you fail, you might accidentally fry the data. So
I'm
you gather.
Do it. I have a retry, and so I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm gonna use my re-roll for my expert ability if I fail the first time.
Okay, we're looking at you're allowed. There's like things about like you're allowed to decide not. Okay, it's one of those things where there's a feat you can take or a focus you can take where I can tell you the DC and then you can decide not to roll. So once I tell you the DC, you have to roll.
Okay.
But I am supposed to tell you the DC on this stuff. It's very funny that that's the way it works. It's like, because I was about to tell you and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You can't back out though. What's the point? Anyway, it is going to be a DC 12 to get this stuff off. A failure does not inherently mean you fry it.
11. I'm going to re-roll that.
Yeah, you can either use
no, add your inspo.
I don't have any more inspo.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But I'm 11. So
yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean I fry it. But
with an 11, you're just unable to break the encryption.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So I will sit on that for now. I'm not gonna ask to keep rolling that. Maybe I'll come back to it later. I will come back to it later because we'll fucking want some cold hard cash.
Yeah, I think with this, because there's other ways to go about it where Weevil can just try again, but Weevil, it's a hardware issue for you at this point. Is you do not have enough power to essentially brute force open this thing, so you'll need to use like a station, a computer to plug this into. Your internals, is not powerful, so you're not going to be able to just plug this into yourself and try again tomorrow. But you can try again if you can find like a workstation.
Let's go to the hotel lobby.
Use the 1998 Macintosh computer with the fucking plexiglass clear background or backing on it, where you could see all the wires on the inside to break into this heavy duty encryption.
I mean, I imagine it would be like Weevil connects himself to the computer so that he gets his own processing power plus whatever computer he finds would help. But that also is entirely dependent on whether, he finds a fucking military grade supercomputer. Yeah, he's not going to plug himself in. He's going to rely on that thing. But cool. All right, so that's on the agenda. Definitely want to do that. Is there a way that I could copy the encrypted data packet off of the hard drive and then still have it as like a sealed envelope on my own hardware and then crack it at a later date? Or is it like tied to this hardware until I can open it?
I think there is a way to do what you want to do there, but it goes into essentially like you need to be able to unencrypt it in order to move it around as well. So
right.
You want to roll, you want to move it off it. Okay, you're gonna have to roll an encryption check basically to get a 12, and then which you failed. So unfortunately, you're unable to move it at this time either.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck on the drive.
Gotcha. Okay, so can I copy everything else off though, like the data of like the text messages and all that, since I've successfully decrypted that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So that's all I want to know. I'm moving that onto my compad, and then the idea is I can potentially transfer that to.
I think actually, sorry, I didn't think about this. I kind of said yes because I'm like, well, you're a robot. but like it's too much data to fit on your compad, which is why it's on this external storage device.
Gotcha. Okay. So
you can pick and
essentially I
choose
have
if you
plug
want
in
to choose the relevant stuff. You can get some of it. You just can't back up the entire drive except for the.
Okay. So, gotcha. I'm gonna wait on that then. And then one last question before I allow someone else to step, to take the reins is, if I did do that other check to try and get at that encrypted data, and I, found that computer and access that additional hardware power, would I get any additions to the roll, or would it still be a 12 DC and then I have to roll again, but not have my scene ability unless it's a new scene?
You can.
I'm curious if it would be like I got so close, and it's a 11 instead of a 12. I don't know.
You wouldn't get a bonus for attempting it again, and in order to attempt it again, you need to do something differently, which is just not. I'm going to plug it into my fucking self, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. So you need to use external power via another like a plugged-in PC. It doesn't need to be a military-grade supercomputer. Probably should be more than a hotel computer, but like. You could also plug it into like a data slab or like a black slab if you could get your hands on that filled with like Maltech and hacking software. Like that'd be great. There's like those kinds of things, and you're not gonna you'd get a bonus with the black slab, but just by default. But you plug it into like a heavy duty enough computer, you're not gonna get a bonus just for that. You're just gonna get to try again. That's what you get. You get to try again.
Right. Okay. Good to know. So I will sit on that for now, and we'll say that to the party, and he'll say,
I am detecting a high quantity of encrypted credits that would be very useful, although I call dibs if I manage to break into it. I believe it would be in our best interest for me to procure a black slab at the earliest possibility.
And I have some leads on smuggling and drug dealers and their vices. So
that's how you can make your money. You just go shake down drug dealers.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. There's a whole other world that opened up to us now.
As I'm watching Weevil sort of burn himself out, scrolling through this data,
He's doom scrolling.
So Weevil, what'd you actually find on the smuggling operation? Like, how far does this go? Like, do the Warriors have reaches to other systems, or do you have any names? Or
yeah, gotcha. So the spark notes of what Weevil found of interest was that there was this big cache of information that Pigley had been keeping encrypted behind several layers of security, presumably as blackmail, presumably for his own records. And he found, it seems like, according to what I took from it, most of their smuggling is strictly on Junus. So they have a big network of people that they kind of distribute their shit to, and then they sell it to the individuals. And then they also, I assume that they take a stipend, the Warriors take their share, and then the dealers get to continue making, decent money because this shit probably sells for a good amount of credits. But, they're under the thumb of the Warriors who make and supply them with it. They have a professor who was formerly kidnapped named Giles McCormick, who is their chief lab tech in the production of Teft. And allegedly now he has come around to maybe not enjoying the life, but, kind of working with them and cooperating. And then they also have a ship, which is a Valman Starships brand supply ship that comes every few weeks, who seems to be giving them a variety of materials and components for production of Teft. Whether that means they're shipping stuff out with them and raking in credits from that.
It's very much like we got a guy who comes in and he works for this ship, and some things fall off the truck and make it our way, and that helps us with some of the raw materials that we can't get on this planet to make this stuff. So it doesn't seem like they're shipping it off planet via this guy. Okay. It's like we need fucking large amounts of helium, and this planet doesn't really have helium deposits, and not a lot of helium in the atmosphere to pull, so we got to get it off world, and we got a guy who helps us get it off world.
Okay, could I take that hard drive and do like a cursory glance over, looking for the detail of if there are any Palgan smugglers mentioned, or the name of a certain smuggler I might be.
I mean, I found that list. Yeah, I can. Sorry,
Can I skim that?
Like,
after
Do you want drug dealers or somebody working on these ships that are helping them get the materials?
Honestly, both. Just smugglers.
Okay,
Mostly
well,
transport.
that's my thing. Is like so you say smugglers, the guys working on the ships and helping them get raw materials. I classify those as smugglers. The guys they are selling heroin to and then selling heroines on the street. I'd call them drug dealers, not
Okay.
smugglers.
I would say smugglers, not drug dealers, like
Okay.
people that move stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so as previously kind of discussed with Weevil, there's not a lot of hard details on the smugglers like there are the drug dealers. He names his drug dealers by name and their vices and stuff like that. But the smugglers, it seems to be one, maybe two guys that they work with that run materials to Saragon 3 on a regular basis from somewhere else. There's not a lot of details. It doesn't say where. And they're the connect, right? They're just kind of low level workers on this ship that again help things, facilitate things falling off the truck and going missing from inventory manifests. It's a regular gig. It seems like these guys they've been doing business for a little while based on the context and the subtext of the language of these notes. But they are never named by name, and they are not singled out by race either, or species.
I have a lead that may help in locating a smuggler of interest.
and Weevil will share the document with Jenko that specifically names Klek the Grekul tech dealer in Sector Q.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Huh?
That guy.
Well,
You don't
we
even know him.
anything about him. Do you say, like, if you fucking go fuck that guy, like Weevil's like, oh my god, you know Klek? I have been trying to find him for a long time.
Wait, isn't that the dude that?
No,
No, it's
you've
not.
never
It
met him.
sounds so familiar. Never mind.
Oh.
I thought it was the dude.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
I don't even know who you thought it was, but you go, isn't that the
I thought
dude?
it
I'm
was
like,
fucking bug dude.
no.
I forgot his name.
Klek is he's a Grakul guy who lives on this planet apparently. What was your dude? Hi-Hat?
I can't remember his name.
Hi-Hat was the guy. No, Hi-Hat was the name of the gang. Yours was
I think.
Thrux, yeah.
Rux, yeah. Never mind.
Weevil like wilts. He was like, "Oh, I did not think we would have to go through him for a second." But yeah, I mean, he'll mention that he has no connection to this guy other than he has some information Weevil is interested in, and it's a name to pursue. You know. That being said, he is associated with the Warriors in some capacity. Doesn't seem to be like he may not even be a black market tech guy. He's just, I don't even remember. I think it just said like, hey, we stopped at his shop and we couldn't find what we were looking for. So it's, it's up in the air what his personality is like, or really the only stuff Weevil has to go off of him are his general location, his race, his name, and that he deals in tech in some capacity, which could also help, locating a black slab to give Weevil the ability to hopefully crack the data more quickly. But yeah, so I mean, I think we have some leads. We can go find Klek. We can go to the city hall and attempt to trade information, or we can, there's a couple different things we can do. So I'm curious what it seems like the move is.
Yeah, you guys got, I feel like 2 or 3 solid leads and also like multiple ways to go about each one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you. These are all money making opportunities, boys. This is your first. Now that Collie's mom is out of the picture, time to make some fucking dosh. Get some coin, fellas.
I mean, Weevil's suggestion is we go find Kleck, see what his deal is, and then we can maybe even say, hey, if you trade us some information that our robot friend is interested in, we have information that could interest you about people who are involved with, like, I mean, if he seems like he's above board, we don't loop him in on the drug shit, and we just talk to him and see what he'd want in exchange for telling Weevil about what he's looking for.
I know you sell stolen iPhones, but would you like some dirt on some heroin dealers?
Yeah, I kind of talked myself out of that as I was thinking about what that conversation would look like. But who knows? Maybe he knows some fucking people in the smuggling ring who could help us out. I think at the bare minimum, I would like to talk to him. And then, so yeah, that's my rambling suggestion.
I mean, like, I'm kind of sitting pretty right now, Weevil. That random poker game really did pretty much set me up for a while. So if this is something that you want to pursue, like, Collie scratches the back of his head and fingers get like caught in knots in his blonde locks. He's like, I kind of owe you one, man. So you want to like go to City Hall? I could chat up a dude or two.
Oh, and it's not City Hall that I want to go to.
Oh, I thought one of the options was City Hall where this guy was.
Oh no, this guy's in Sector Q. Which is that in Warriors territory?
No.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So,
I mean, they mill around the entire city.
Right. Yeah. It's not like they are fucking Skyrim guards who patrol on a set path, but it's not like we're at just as much of a risk at Sector Q, hypothetically, as we are anywhere else outside of their territory.
It's like
right.
It's like a V through Z, maybe, or like the heaviest,
Okay.
with W being the strongest.
Also, is there a this might have been discussed a couple sessions ago, and I just forgot. Is there a like a passive anti-rad thing because we haven't been rad for a while, or do I have to look for Radx?
I think you need to seek medical treatment. Instead of sleeping in a hotel, you need to get like an IV drip, which I think Weevil can technically help you with if he attends to you before you go to bed, kind of deal. Like he can set you up with like, okay, we're gonna replenish your fluids, and then there's gonna be a little bit of antibiotic cocktail in there via my med kit, kind of deal. Like Weevil, being a trained physician, can actually provide this service for you.
Oh,
he just hasn't been.
Like, Weevil, could you, like, treat my rad sickness, like, bro?
Because it's like, each failed, blah, blah, blah. Characters reduce, blah, blah, blah. Radiation poison does not immediately kill it. Can induce vomiting, blah, blah, blah. Resolute can functioning. A target kill
All the humans have been slowly losing teeth.
Yeah, this is just like how you die. I'm like, well, how do you cure it?
Yeah, I don't know how you cure it for a robot either, which I don't think it mentions at all.
Non-fatal doses can be treated by a TL4 med kit and an int heal check at a difficulty of 10. Each success restores 1 lost point of constitution and can be made 1 per day.
Okay, so I believe I have a TL4 med kit. So I could be doing that every night, and
during downtime,
I can do that for as many people as I need, but I have to roll the 2d6 each time.
Yeah, as long as you, it's just one time per person per day, but you can do it to everybody as long as you go around and you have enough. You have enough time, and you don't roll a 12. As for Weevil, I don't know. I'm gonna scan through the VI stuff for a second. If I can't find anything, we will just go with the med kit and say. That or I'm going to pick a different tool that's very similar to a med kit, and you can still use your heal thing. You just might have to spend fucking 25 credits to buy this tool, whatever it might be. But we'll see.
That's something. Because I know we had the rule where I have to use a 24 hours repairing myself and one spare part unit in order to stop myself from being badly damaged. So I didn't. Yeah,
I mean that's not me. That's written. I think that's just written in the rules, right? So
yeah, that was just the rules, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, if I can't find anything about radiation, then so I'm gonna look for that while you guys. I mean, you guys have planning to do discussions. So I mean, decide what you do. I can DM while I do this. You got options. Where do you go? What do you do? It's mid evening or early evening rather. So.
How do we feel about Sector Q?
Like, look, man, I don't really want to get gunned down, but if that's our lead, let's do it. We can play it safe.
Yeah.
Hey, man, anything that's going to bring me a little bit more money, I'm down for. You hear from the bathroom.
Well, this would be Weevil's money.
Weevil gives you a finger guns. And I'm sure to Rhodey that means, well, that would basically mean it's my money too.
yeah, it's gonna be our money, right, Weevil?
No.
Weevil is gonna make money and we're all gonna get some for helping out, because that's what buddies do.
You get your crew cut.
Yeah. Rhodey gets his fucking slovenly bum dues. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to proceed on foot to Sector Q before the curfew is in effect.
Cool. Yeah, you guys have somewhere between like 6 to 8 hours to kill before that kicks in. So you begin to walk over. Solid. Yeah, I'm gonna say you can do the same thing with a post-tech toolkit, Weevil, which I think Janko has. He can use. Cool. You can use fix int or fix whiz. I'll take either to repair yourself with Janko's toolkit, or Janko can do it for you.
Yeah,
very similar to how you heal from everything else.
Yeah, as Weevil is sanitizing the needles this coming night, and moving from Kali to Janko to do the IV drip, he goes, "Remember, Janko, your life is in my hands." And then slops off later so that he can help him, because he's definitely better at that than Weevil is. But yeah, we can. Yeah,
well, I mean, not right now, but
yeah, I'm writing that down on my character sheet. That is how we've ruled this. Cool. So to restore radiation poisoning as the VI, use fix whiz to repair myself using a post TL4 toolkit.
Yeah, is that what it is for radiation, right? You just roll a heal check. So yeah, you just different fix check instead of heal check, basically. All it is, and instead of a med kit, you use a toolkit. Easy peasy. Cool. So you guys begin to walk over to Sector Q. And you get there. 45 minutes of walking goes by. Nothing too eventful happenings. You pass some people in the street. You don't see any warriors. Street vendors, dusty roads, slightly degraded buildings. Things get very urban street markety around this part of town. Sector Q is on the edge of town, so you kind of have this like trapezoidal shape on the map that says this is Q, and the base of the trapezoid, the farthest to the left, the farthest to the east, is the city wall, the wall of the city. So Sector Q butts up right against the edge of the city, the outskirts, basically. And there's lots of people selling fruits and meats and clothing and fucking discount compads out of street stalls, along with storefronts and houses and the like all over the place too. This place is not real corporate heavy. It seems real residential and entrepreneurial. Loud streets.
Selling fucking bootleg Harry Potter DVDs.
Exactly. See the Incredible Bulk? Got him on DVD. What is a DVD? I don't know. Yeah, it's hustling, it's bustling, but you don't exactly have an address for Kleck's spot. It occurs to you when you get here.
Right. So I know it sounds like this is a fairly unregulated area, but is there any signage that says Market District, Tech Center, et cetera, like you are here?
No, not really. It's kind of more, there's street signs and stuff, but it's never that segmented,
Okay.
It's like mostly residential with people just popping up and doing shit as they please in the street.
I mean, all right. So Weevil will find some dude who's selling those bootleg compads that you mentioned, and before he goes up to him, his arm all of a sudden just kind of hangs limply at his side, kind of to look like it's like maybe a servo's busted and it's just unusable in need of repairs. And so he goes up to this guy and he goes,
Greetings. I am in search of some spare components. I've heard that there are some vendors in this area that may be able to assist. Would you be able to point me in the right direction?
Yeah, you find this like lanky, 4'5", thin, green Vrukoid fella with kind of like desert turban, kind of sand clothes all over him. You know, stay out of the sun.
You looking for a repairman? Yeah, I can repair you. Yeah. I'm an expert with robotics. I know it looks like I just sell DVDs, but yeah, I can totally fix you. I got a shop a few blocks this way. It's in an alley. Very discreet. You want some extra modifications while I fix you? Maybe some cybernetics. Like I see you got friends back there. Do any of you guys want some robot lungs?
Allow me to be more specific. I've heard that there is a Grakul who is well-versed with the sale of advanced components, and I am searching for him specifically.
He kind of hums a little bit with his thorax, and seems a little perturbed that you don't want him to do some back alley surgery on you, which he seems very unqualified to do for sure. He looks up at you.
Yeah, I might know who you're talking about. What's it worth to you?
Like we can totally we can totally bring back some of his product for you to sell and make a quick buck. Salesman to salesman, you know.
I've been here before. I say yes to that, and I never see you again. You want me to take that deal? You gotta leave me some collateral at the very least. How about your Palgan friend? He can stay with me.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Come on, Ollie. I got this cardboard sign. You can spin it. I'll even pay you a few credits per hour. So your friend.
What about this tall, handsome human man? And Collie starts to point at Rhodey.
Would you accept a charged A-cell?
I'll just fucking give him a battery.
All right, fine. Here, give me the A-cell.
Yeah, I've removed it from my inventory. I slide it. I pop it out of my laser pistol and I slide it towards him, and then I pop another one into my laser pistol and holster my pistol.
He almost like folds it into his body real quick, like he pulls it real close to his carapace, and like all of his little insectoid leg arms kind of go at it really quick, and like in a flurry they like take all the safety caps and shit off it. Like he starts disassembling it to the point where it's like open, and he brings it up to his face and he like licks some battery acid, basically some like radioactive fucking. He's like,
yeah, that stuff's full. All right,
and he kind of begins to put it back together real quick again.
All right, you're gonna want to find Kleck's Discount Repairs. It's you see the big wall behind me?
And he kind of gestures with one arm back over his shoulder towards the city wall.
Yeah.
It's just on the other side of that, right outside of town. It's built up against the other side of the wall. You can maybe find some cracks in it where you can crawl through. Maybe try heading up a few blocks that way.
Okay. Interesting. So I guess quick question about Saragon 3. It's not like outside the wall, it's a desert wasteland. I mean, I'm sure it's a desert wasteland. It's not like it's a radioactive desert wasteland in the same way Saragon 2 was.
It's more, I mean, yeah, no. It's more to prevent sandstorms from rolling over the city and keep Saragon crawlers out and the like. general safety, not like it's a fucking murder land out there. It's like, oh, do you want to leave New York City limits? And it's like, sure, but you might encounter a bear upstate and a tree might fall on you.
Okay. So
General nature concerns, nothing crazy.
right, it's not fucking Fallout 4 where the wall and Wrigley Field is, keeping out all the death claws and all that. Cool. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna fucking, if you're in agreement, I'm gonna look for a crack outside the wall. I'll thank
You
him.
guys head outside the walls and see one of those.
A death claw?
No, they sent the fucking Titans from Attack on Titan.
Oh no.
That's what they're keeping out.
Oh hey, Rhodey, it's you.
Yeah. And to cut to the chase, you guys spend the next 15 minutes heading up a few blocks and looking for cracks in the walls. And sure enough, you find like a big caved in section of the wall. It's like 8 feet tall and 6 feet wide. And yeah, it's what is happening? Yeah, you're able to walk through it. You duck your head underneath some collapsed brick, and sure enough, you head back the way you came, but this time on the outskirts of the wall, and you're able to see a small kind of rundown shop built into the side of this thing. It almost looks like it shouldn't be here. It's got an open area roof, kind of like a big double wooden doors on the front, kind of swung out, propped open with a few sticks, sand blown up against it. You can kind of see why they have the walls here with this thing almost half buried in sand. Made of just stone and tarps. Looks real run down. But they got a wooden sign outside that just says Klex. And it's got an apostrophe before and after the S, which Weevil is grammatically incorrect.
Weevil kicks the sign over and breaks it into a million tiny pieces and then rearranges those pieces into a grammatically correct version.
Okay, well, unfortunately, as you kick the sign over and break it into a bunch of pieces, you hear, "Ow, ow, oh, God, you're killing me, Kleck, I'm dead." That was Kleck. He was the sign.
Oh, no! Yeah, so, I mean, this place, it looks shabby, but it's not like the door's hanging off its hinges and there's no signs of habitation, right? Like, I'm gonna go up and knock on the door and say,
Greetings, I am searching for Kleck of Kleck's Discount Repairs.
Yeah, you yell this into an empty room. It's cluttered with workstations and paper and metal sheets on the floor. It almost reminds you of the workstation back home, yeah. But you see on the far counter on the other side of the room a big golden bell with a little wooden sign that just says "Ring for service."
I ring it for service.
You clank. Some boards breaking under your feet as you cross the room, and ding! You ring the bell, and it lets out a like a nuclear siren alarm. Like that really obnoxious phone alarm you can get on your just yeah. It's hooked up to something that isn't just a bell. So that goes off for a good 5 seconds. Down. Yeah, you blow up the city actually.
Oh no!
Nice.
You hear a loud kind of just and then stomping from, it sounds like below you, and it gets louder and louder as it sounds like something big is coming up a flight of steps in the back, like from behind the counter. And sure enough, this big gentleman Kleck comes stumbling out into the public space. He's a giant sort of green hulking Krakool male with just a couple of arms and almost like frog-like features. And he kind of comes out covered in soot, limping to one side.
Everyone's breaking their legs today.
Yeah. No, this just looks like an old, aggravated hip arthritis situation. And wearing your blacksmith's kind of apron and work trade clothes. He's like, "Ugh. What can I do you for?" And he kind of stares at Weevil for a really long time. And he takes the goggles that are already on his forehead and he pushes them up. And kind of widens his eyes. What are you doing
Based
back
on your
here?
reaction, It seems back here. I have been here before.
Yeah, you don't remember? And that's what we're gonna call it real quick.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's 11 o'clock, so there we go. This is as close as we're gonna get to a cliffhanger as we can this week.
Alrighty. Fuck.
Yeah. Good job, guys, on not being too reckless. I had some things planned for you if you were to be abrasive and take some different courses of action, and they weren't necessarily death sentences, but they would have been some real pickles to jam yourself out of.
I'm getting my mom back, and I don't care what you guys say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jam so many pickles.
Yeah, like there's a very real possibility you identified which ship was Joseph's, and then you decided to board it, and it's like, well,
yeah.
Who knows what'll happen?
Yeah. Would have been a fun cliffhanger though, but this, I fucking, dude, I'm very excited for this. I'm curious.
Yeah, we didn't really roll that well.
Well, that, and you decided not to do that. Your plan was to take photos of ships already taking off. Like if you got a photo of Joseph getting on a ship, it would have been too late to run down and stop him from taking off anyway, based on your current plan. You would have had to like been on the starport, whatever, or like trying to, instead of waiting for 4 hours, you would have had to like try and break into the technician's office to get like logs or something. You know, it would have been a whole process, which is possible, but you decided to take the safe route. Anyway, yeah. Also, Collie, don't forget that you can always do more research about, you know, where she went later, you know, so you guys don't get too distracted. There's still leads to follow up on and information you can totally gather, people you can ask. Just because the ships have taken off doesn't mean that their evidence is erased. There's definitely servers and stuff like that. So like if you guys want to double back and go back on that trail, then that's always a possibility. But there's also other shit to do. So, you know, explore. It's a sandbox. Yeah. So we can do inspiration and goals though.
All right. I'm gonna give inspo to myself. I'm just kidding. I'm not. No.
I'm gonna give inspiration to my favorite player, me.
Woo!
Well,
running,
I
no,
will
I'm gonna let someone else go because I was just fucking around. But
I will actually be giving my inspiration to Weevil for helping the broken-legged old man because it was in character and it was funny, and I liked that. I like when Alex